Welcome back, it's Talking Bollocks for March! Yes, it's time to march with the bollocks away from March, actually, into April. It's end of March, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. Or, of course, if you're listening to this in future time, Mr. Internet Person or Mrs. Internet Person, this is whenever you choose to listen to it. In fact, you people right now, regular listeners, you could be listening to this at any time. You might listen to it as soon as it comes out. You might listen to it over the Easter holidays. You might listen to it, I don't know, weeks, months down the line. Hello from months in the past, if you're listening. So there you go. Hello, my name is Howard H. Smith. I am also the lead singer of UK thrash band Acid Rain, acidrain.co.uk. All these socials, you know, Twitter, at Acid Rain UKAC, Instagram, Acid Rain UKAC. You can find us. I also do stand-up comedy, keithplatt.co.uk, Keith Platt on Twitter. I also do this here podcast, like, which you've been listening to so far, alright? Yeah, I do this podcast. Hello, Talking Bollocks. Subscribe everywhere. If you have not already subscribed, please do. Get a podcast app on your phone, on your tablet, on your desktop. Does anybody have those anymore? On your laptop, and get yourself subscribed. And in case you have limited data, make sure that you download the podcast. You don't have to stream it. Download it using Wi-Fi onto your phone, your laptop, your tablet, your desktop. Does anyone have those anymore? And then you're laughing. You're absolutely laughing. And of course, for those of you who have an iPhone or a Mac, you can use ShitTunes. Oh, sorry, iTunes. And it's there. And, you know, if you're stopping by and you happen to have a spare couple of minutes, why not do a review of Talking Bollocks for your old mate Howard? Hey, hello, it's me over here. Why not do me a little review? Hey, say, God, what a cock. Don't listen to this. Don't put that. Also on YouTube as well. I put the podcast up on YouTube every month. I don't know why I'm umming and ahhing. Every month, because I do monthly podcasts. And what's a real fucker? Microsoft, the twats. So it's not just Apple. You know, it's not just Apple I hate. Microsoft, the twats. I'm coming to you live and direct on the same old laptop, but a totally new hard drive. The old hard drive couldn't be saved. That had to go. So I've got a new laptop and, no, I haven't got a new laptop. I've got a new hard drive. And in between my, last laptop going and getting this one up and running, Microsoft have decided to do away with, Windows Movie Maker, which was a great little program, and I was able to create little movies for YouTube that took about, probably about 40 minutes, and job done. Now, Windows have decided to replace the Windows Movie Maker with nothing. That's right, fuck all. So now I've got another program searched all around the internet, and to be able to create basically a movie which is a picture of the flaming mic that you know so well for Talking Bollocks, and then sticking an MP3 on it. It now takes on average about an hour and a half to make those clips that were taking me 40 minutes to make. So thank you very much for that, Microsoft, you absolute cunts. What's the point in having the program? First cunt of the podcast. Oh, second. What's the point in having a program, discontinuing it? Clearly, you know, loads of people have been using it and it's been available for years, and replacing it with nothing. What's really frustrating is you can still get like links to where you can download the program, and it just doesn't download. You can even download the installer, but Microsoft have wiped the program. You cannot get it anymore unless someone's got it on a fucking CD. And really, who does that anymore? If you have got, in fact, I totally didn't intend to spend the first 5 minutes of the podcast, right, going on about this, but if you happen to have a disc with Microsoft Movie Maker on it, please do let me know. Please do post me the disc and I'll post it back. I'd love to get that little program back. It was a cracker. But anyway, it's not like I haven't got anything. I'm just annoyed that Microsoft got rid of it without replacing it with anything, and I've had to replace it with something that is all well and good, but it just takes a lot longer. And the files are a lot bigger once they're made as well, which is the whole thing's a pain in the arse. But there you go. So all I've done is managed to moan so far, isn't it? This whole intro to the podcast, all I've done is moan. Well, I'm sorry about that. Hello, how are you? How's things? You all right? How's work? Is it going all right? How's finding work? Is that going okay? Getting your bills paid all right? It's stressful. I know. Since going self-employed. Oh, yeah, since going self-employed 10 months ago. Well, I didn't go 10 months ago. I got made redundant 10 months ago. But you know what I mean. Same thing, innit? So, yeah, look, I feel your drift. For those of you out there with more than one job, yep, definitely. That's what I'm doing these days. We'll talk for food, as I often say. And funnily enough, coming up in just over a couple of weeks, I'll be doing my spoken word up at Audio in Glasgow Audio. So looking forward to doing that. You can still get tickets for that. So please do and get some tickets for that if you want. If you don't. And if you're listening to this in the future, you missed it, and it was fucking brilliant. I am gonna record some of that. I don't know how much of it. I mean, if I do use any of it, it will be the lovely Patreon bollockers who get it. That's right. If you want to contribute to this podcast, if you want to get loads of awesome extra bits to do with the podcast, to do with Acid Rain, also sneak peeks behind the scenes of the new Acid Rain album that's coming your way. And also you get the chance to ask questions of bands who I'm going to interview, because I put up who I'm going to interview before I go, and you can send me questions and I will ask your questions, and that all appears on the extra podcast. So there you go. Go to patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. Patreon, patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. That's patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. Patreon.com/Howard H. Smith. You know it makes sense. So, there we go. This is a fairly shit intro so far, isn't it? And it is still kind of the intro 7 minutes in. Jesus Christ. I'm so full of myself today. What else is coming? Well, I'll tell you what. Okay, if we're on the still full of myself stuff, let's continue. Managed to squeeze in a performance at Hammerfest that wasn't even on the cards last time we spoke. But there was a band pulled out, and the kind people of Hammerfest who remembered that we weren't able to make it 2 years ago said, "Hey, how'd you fancy doing it?" And as previously stated, we've got no shows booked for this year, but it seemed right to do that one because it was fucking something we didn't manage to do before. So we played it. A few people gave us shit for saying, "Thought you said you weren't doing any gigs this year." I said, I said we were off the road for the foreseeable future. And we still are. We haven't got any gigs booked this year. That one came out of nowhere. We haven't got any others booked. I'll tell you what we have been doing, chatting to producers, a couple of producers, interested, well, more than a couple, interested in producing the new Acid Rain album, which is very flattering. So I've been having a chat with them, finishing writing as well, because obviously it's not all written. 8 songs done. Ideally we want 10, so we're very, very close. So yeah, that's basically how things are with me. So yeah, I've used the first 8.5 minutes of this podcast to basically moan about stuff and then big myself up and plug other stuff that I do. I mean, really, if you haven't listened to this podcast before, this is it. Completely uncontrolled, unrestrained ego, from the lovable cunt himself. I can't talk about myself in the third person. That is just so wanky. But yeah, lovable cunt. I would just say that's probably my best description, hopefully. Or as I still like, or self-aware egomaniac. That's another one that is in a iTunes review, which still makes me chuckle every time I see it. So, I suppose what we should do is, well, what I should do, I keep saying we as well, that's weird. So far I've managed to speak about myself in the first person and speak about myself as multiple personalities, people. How about this? How about I, Howard, talk with you about what's been going on in the world of metal since we last spoke? Well, first up, top of my list was this was actually dead funny because I saw this story break on Instagram, and I don't know how. I genuinely don't know how, because I don't follow him. And Acid Rain, I think Acid Rain might follow him because we did a load of stupid follows when we first opened the account. as you do, porn stars and all sorts. And then later on, as the account matures, you see these people's tweets or Instagrams, you think, Jesus, were we following them? And then you remember that you followed them years ago. So anyway, what I'm getting to is I saw the story of Tommy Lee and his son fighting. I actually saw that as it was breaking on Instagram. For those of you that don't know, Tommy Lee posted a picture that he later deleted on Instagram of him with a busted lip saying, "Parents, it doesn't matter what you do. I've given my son everything, and he does this. Thanks a lot, Brandon." And I was like open mouth. Why the fuck would you conduct your family business over Instagram? I mean, really, why would you do that? Why would you do your dirty washing in public? Well, if you're Tommy Lee, presumably it's any excuse to keep yourself in the public eye. And not only that, but when you see that picture of Tommy Lee with a busted lip, surely I'm not the only one who's thinking, nice one, Brandon. Fucking hell. I would love to have done that. I would pay a lot of money I'd pay a lot of money to punch your dad in the face. But you have done it for us. Wow. Those of us who've always wanted to do that, don't worry. Brandon's got our backs. Brandon Lee punched him in the face. And then it went on, the picture, and like I said, I saw this it wasn't up long. There was only about 10 or 15 comments on the picture on Instagram, which then went on to be loads and loads, and then it got deleted, and then it got into the mainstream entertainment press and everything else. And I don't know where I don't know where the story's gone now, because ultimately I don't really care. It's just it happened to just land in my lap, and I just thought, wow, that is. Why would you do that? Why? Honestly, I'm sure there must be parents listening to this thinking, fucking hell, how embarrassing is that? What a knob. Yeah, there you go. Tommy Lee, ladies and gentlemen. Amazing news. Tool are officially in the studio recording the new album. That's right. So, possibly only about another 2 years to go before anything sees the light of day. But they are apparently, definitely in the studio, definitely recording. So, although how that works, I don't know, because Maynard seems to be out. There's a Perfect Circle album coming out. He's going to have to tour that. So, I don't know. It all seems a bit weird and I guess we're pretty much, most of us past caring by now. The whole Tool thing has dragged on so fucking long. It's hard to really believe that we're even discussing another album. I'm not sure if I can be bothered. I mean, I'm a Tool fan, but I've got to be honest. I'm an earlier Tool fan. The more prog they get, the less interested I've got. And a lot of the last album, there's prog. I've said this before, there's prog and there's falling asleep on the job. And a lot of the last Tool album for me just really, really dragged. And it was just like, yeah, you've now been playing that same riff for 4.5 minutes. Now, I get that you might like the groove, but to be honest, I've got to be honest, I'm bored. I mean, bored. Bored now. Can we have something else? Also, since the last podcast, speaking of Tool, I don't know why I made the connection. The Lost in Vegas YouTube channel how you living? Shout out to our free thinkers. I sent them a tweet with the clip of me doing an impression of them, and they actually played it and tweeted me back and said it was hilarious and thanks for the support and stuff, which was really cool. Love to get them to review an Acid Rain song, but let's face it, that ain't gonna happen. I can't see that ever happening. But be nice if they did. Free thinkers. Shout out to the free thinkers. Really? I'm George. He's Ryan. If you like I can't do the impression because if they do, it's like, if you like the video, please remember like it. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'm George. He's Ryan. We out. I don't know, I'm way too obsessed with those guys, I really am. How you living? Shout out to our free thinkers. I just like saying that shit, I don't know why. I don't do that in my everyday life. I don't walk into a shop and go like, I say, can I help you, sir? How you living? Shout out to our free thinkers. Although maybe I should. Maybe I should start doing shit like that. Take my phone around with me, recording shit like that and just putting it on the podcast. Um, tell me if you think that is a good idea. Just doing stupid shit like that. And I don't know, expanding the comedy side of the podcast, incorporating, or just going up to people in the street and asking them for their best death metal growl or shit like that. I don't know. Maybe that is something. Maybe there's something in it there. Genuinely, people, those of you that like to contribute, like to interact with the show and everything else, let me know. Either let me know on Patreon, if you're a Patreon follower, or let me know on Twitter, at Talking Bollocks. Bollocks ends CKZ, not a CKS, not Talking Bollocks, as pronounced by Chuck and Godless, RIP, the metal podcast. Just let me know, alright? Cool. Fucking hell. I don't know where that came from. So next up, Wendy Dio. Wendy Dio. Despite how brilliantly successful apparently the UK and European tour of the Dio hologram was, they've decided to go back and do a load of redesigning. Yeah. Like, come on. You had if it was that brilliantly successful, yeah, and you had lots of great feedback, why are you back at the drawing board working on the fucking thing? And, Wendy Dio was very, very keen to say, I had people coming up to me say, how wonderful it was. They didn't get a chance to see Ronnie, or that it was great to see Ronnie again. No, they weren't seeing Ronnie. They didn't get a chance to see Ronnie. They were watching a bunch of light that at the right angle looks a bit like Ronnie used to. Yeah. And the weird thing is, she said, I'm not, she said, I'm not totally happy with it. His eyes and I nearly said eyebrows. I don't know what that is. His eyes and eyebrows still aren't quite right. And I thought, it's taking that on tour across UK and Europe to realise that the hologram of your dead husband doesn't quite look like your dead husband. Jesus fucking Christ! It's any wonder none of us want to go and see it. If his own goddamn wife doesn't think it looks much like him, who the fuck else is going to think it looks like him? And I'm gonna fucking lose it about that Dio hologram again, but it's just, how fucking creepy does that sound? Just the fact that Wendy Dio is talking about going back to redesigning the hologram of her dead husband's face. Let me just say that again, okay? If you're at work listening to this and you thought, hang on, he said something there, I wasn't quite paying attention, right? Yes, she's talking about redesigning the hologram of her dead husband's face. What the fuck? That is so fucked up. That is so fucked up in so many ways that the cable fell out of my fucking microphone. Again, I know. You know it, I know it. I wonder if there's something I can do here that will actually... Do you know what? I think I've just figured out such an easy way of stopping that happening. I really have. I've just figured out how to stop that happening. Oh, what an idiot. It's the same principle as what you do with a cabled mic. But I don't use a cabled mic. I use a wireless mic. So you see, that's that. Anyway, what the fuck? Yeah? Redesigning the hologram of your dead husband's face. It's just... There's something about that phrase as well. There's something about, isn't there? There's redesigning the hologram of your dead husband's face. Redesigning the hologram of your dead husband's face. It's just... I don't know. It sounds like it's almost like an album title. You remember old John Peel? For those of you who remember John Peel. So that was Spastic Blur there, and redesigning the hologram of your dead husband's face. Available on SST records out of the States. Now, it's time for some half man, half biscuit, Dukla Prague away kit. Away you go, lads. That didn't sound like... that didn't actually sound like John Peel at all, because... he didn't sound like that. That was shit. I've just taken a shit on John Peel's memory. I do apologise. Okay, well, look, I've got there's a few other things to talk about, but we are, and believe you me, yes. Oh no, I've got to tell you this story, right? Just before I go into the interview. Excuse me. I went to see my osteopath the day before Hammerfest, and she was like just putting me in line a bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to come back on Monday and be all fucked up again. And she was like, okay, well, off you go and do what you do. So I went and did the gig, came back, and she was... I was back there on a Monday, and she was just putting me in line and, like, you know, clicking things and stuff like that. And I said, oh, by the way, I've got my neck muscles are a bit sore as well. And she was like, oh, thanks for telling me that. And she goes, oh yeah, now what have you been doing? I said, oh, I was doing a bit of head banging. She said, oh right, what were you banging it against? Right, which is not a question you expect if you tell somebody you've been head banging. Like, you know, you want to go, oh, what gig? Oh, where did you go? Oh, who did you see? Oh, not against what? It's this vision of, what do you think we do? People go to heavy metal gigs and then just line up facing the wall, and as soon as the band comes on, start nutting the wall. But she's and when I say little, I mean at least half a foot shorter than me. She's a little Polish woman. I mean, she's got a great grasp. Her English is fantastic. A lot better than my Polish. But she's so she says this, and I'm like, no. I say, and I explain what headbanging is, and she just looks at me and just goes, oh right, well, I'd call that more vigorous nodding. Vigorous nodding. Okay. I know, sounds like an album, sounds like a band, whatever. That's what you do. If you're listening to this, you no longer headbang, you vigorously nod. I told Paul, our guitarist, this news, saying next time we do a show, you've got to say to the audience, I don't want to see some serious, vigorous nodding in this song. Vigorous nodding. Just the idea of somebody thinking, yeah, anyway. Absolutely brilliant. So it is on to the interview. But you know what? Before I do the interview, I am actually going to play some Akercocke for you, because that's who the interview is with, and it's an absolute cracker. It's about 1 hour and 48 minutes, which sounds like a long time, but hopefully it's going to fly by in the company of me and the chaps. It really was just. It was great fun. Great fun. And time just flew by. There's something in there for everybody, believe you me, whether you're a fan of Akercocke, whether you're a fan of the old days, you're going to hear some stories. Because it turns out Jason and David are Acid Rain fans, dyed in the wool Acid Rain fans, came and saw us supporting Flotsam and Jetsam back in the Astoria and back in '88. It's just, anyway, some really cool stories in there. But beforehand, I thought, for those of you who aren't aware of Akercocke, you might want to hear a bit. So I'm going to play something from the more recent album, which for some fucking reason, I completely. It's one of those albums where I've downloaded it. I've been listening to it. I've got songs from it. Do you think I can fucking remember the title? Not a chance. No. Not a bloody chance. So, anyway, look, I'll tell you the title of the album after I stick the... do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to be professional for once. Well, nearly. Renaissance in Extremis. There you go. That is the... that's the album title. Yes, use the pause button there. Really not very professional at all, really, if you think about it. Okay, so anyway, it is now time for some Akercocke before the interview, and this is one chapter closing for another to begin.
A phrase of life, blighted by stages, suspended and hanging by a thread, kiting like a spider. Not to let go.
pretty damn cool stuff, right? There's a lot to take in. A very original band, and more importantly, very, very cool people. Really nice guys. I sat down with Jason Mendonca, David Gray, and Paul Scanlon. I listened to a couple of songs whilst in their rehearsal room, and we were like nattering away. And it was like, right, come on, let's get to the pub and let's get this recorded, because I don't want to miss any of this stuff, because there's some really good stuff. So off we went to the pub, the Green Man, Bedfont, West London. Anybody? Shout out to West London Brethren, yeah. The West London Massive, right up there, bruv. Blah blah blah. And anyway, we sat down around a table with some beers, and we talked about pretty much everything, as you're going to hear. So this is myself, Jason, David, and Paul having a chat just a few days ago. We're on. Right, well, first of all, cheers, chaps.
Cheers, Howard. Good to meet you.
Cheers. Yeah, nice to meet you again. Nice to meet you again. I'm in a pub in West London with. Would you mind introducing yourselves?
Paul Scanlon.
Paul Scanlon.
David Gray. And Jason Mendonca.
Otherwise known as 3/5 of Akercocke. And we've just come from rehearsal. I say we. I mean, I wasn't rehearsing, obviously. I tried to stop you talking about the old days so we could get it recorded. So we met in 1987, apparently. Yeah. So tell us about that. Because it was the week of thrash at the Astoria.
Yeah, Clarendon was first. I think that's when we first saw Acid Rain.
It was
with
indeed.
Sabbath.
Oh right, yeah, it was with Sabbath, which was our second ever gig. Yeah.
And then the week at the Astoria. I think that was '88, wasn't it? I think.
Yes, yeah, it would be. Yeah.
And it was Flotsam and Jetsam.
Yeah.
Testament and Exodus. We didn't go to Testament.
We could only afford to go to 2 of the 3 gigs.
Yeah.
But pocket money wouldn't stretch that far.
Yeah.
So we elected to see Flotsam and Jetsam.
Because we'd never seen them, and the Doomsday for the no Place for Disgrace had just come out.
Yeah, it was. That was hot off the press, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was. Yeah.
And it was also. I think it was the bass player's first gigs. We did bass solo.
Right.
Troy Gregory. That's it.
Oh, you got a good memory.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
you came on stage at the Flotsam show, main support.
Yes.
And if I recollect correctly, and David, correct me if I'm wrong, the first thing that you said was, please can we have no stage diving?
Yeah, it might have been.
Because the security had said something to you, I suspect. And of course, you lot kicked off. And in the first song, Dave gave me a boost up over the security.
Yeah.
And the first thing I did was dive off the stage. At which point,
Missed the audience completely.
stacked myself, launched myself so far, I went over the mosh pit, stacked myself head first into the floor, and then
As you do.
went up for a second time, and the security bloke grabbed me around the neck and dragged me down the back stairs of the Astoria, gave me a bit of a slap, and threw me out into the street. And this was after about, you'd only been on stage about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And so we didn't get to see Flotsam and Jetsam. So I was sat on the steps of the Astoria feeling a bit worse for wear.
Yeah.
And a bit miserable, thinking I'm going to spend the rest of the evening on my Jack Jones on Charing Cross Road. And then out wanders David through the same door after being also ejected by the security for giving me a boost.
Forcibly ejected.
It was another classic Acid Rain gig, yeah.
That sounds like a pretty typical. I think the reason we said no stage time, it was because it was. If you remember, there was a dodgy period in the Astoria.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? I mean, they
Yeah.
learned in the end.
But they threw tear gas once, didn't they?
But yeah, they just. Well, yeah, it was just like. Yeah, it was just weird, wasn't it? It was just they were kind of fighting with it. They didn't know how to deal with it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
the Clarendon was exact opposite. It was because there was the whole sort of like kind of brotherhood code of people would dive in. As soon as you went down, everyone would just grab you and make sure you were up. They would do the maniacs would do the swallow dives with the PA, and everyone would kind of just pause to make sure that somebody could catch them. And it was all sort of good, clean fun. It was almost like a sort of gymnastics session at school. But as soon as you went to a different venue, it was a very different attitude. Because I think the Clarendon was more of an underground, cooler kind of place to be.
Definitely.
Well,
The Astoria in '88, that was not cool.
Well, I think what the difference is that the Clarendon was the old Club Foot, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, that's
So
right.
so there was a punk heritage there. So it was kind of like and also like, you know, treat the venue like it's your home, kind of like, you know, put your feet up on the chairs and everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas the Astoria was still a case of, you know, you've got to be on your best behaviour
It's
in
a
here.
theatre.
Yeah,
Darling.
yeah,
It was a
exactly.
theatre.
Well, it was called the Astoria Theatre, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
And I think that was the big clash, because the thing is that we were playing metal, which belonged in the Astoria, but behaving like punks, which belonged in the Clarendon, and it was kind of like, you know, it was just
But also, it's important to remember as well that the whole atmosphere of those shows at the time was that when you went to the Clarendon, we saw Death Angel there, didn't we?
Yes,
as well?
we did.
And
we
of course-
supported Death Angel
Oh,
at the
right,
Clarendon
so-
as well.
There you
So
go.
that was probably you guys were there as well, but it was the kind of atmosphere. Whereas in you know, Death Angel would go and get a hamburger and then come through the audience and just hang out until they played their show.
Yeah.
Whereas at the Astoria, you didn't.
Yes.
There was definitely an air of like, we're the band, you're the audience, a very different atmosphere. But of course, you know, I think you all agree as well that when we got into that kind of music, it was very anti-image.
Yeah,
We're all
big
the
time,
same.
yeah.
We're all hanging out together, we'll all have a drink together
Yeah.
after the show. And then I think possibly then '88 at those shows was the first time where it started to deviate from that.
And
Yeah.
the other thing,
Slightly more rock star-ish.
the other thing that I remember about that time, which I think was really, really special, was, as you were saying, David, to carry on from your point about it being kind of like anti-image and so on and so forth. What was so exciting was that, you know, hardcore hadn't really been called hardcore yet, and there was crossover, and there was thrash, and there was, you know, then there was the kind of the old guard of the punk lot, like Exploited and whatnot, and English Dogs, who were sort of teetering into that kind of realm as well. And there was no sort of sectarianism in the scene. Do you see what I mean? It was
Yeah.
okay to be into all of that.
Yeah.
And that was kind of cool. That was normal.
We,
you know?
we always had punks at our shows.
Right, which is
Always.
yeah, and and I don't know. Nowadays, it seems to be, you know, very much more sort of regimented. And there's the hardcore kids, and there's the, you know, the death metal kids, and the deathcore kids, and
Yeah.
it's a bit, I don't know, it's a bit pants really.
Yeah, but to be fair, there was also those like, oh, this was okay and that was okay, but we did all hate glam.
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
So yeah, you can get misty-eyed looking back on it. There was still like, you know.
Yeah, but is that wrong?
Yeah, well, even to this day, I'd say no. Yeah, it was. I mean, there were great times, and you must have seen our first 3 gigs in London. You must have seen about our first 4 gigs, because we did the 2 Clarendon shows and then the Flotsam show.
There you go.
And in fact, we would have played with Death Angel at the Astoria not long after that as well. 'Cause
Right.
we did a run of shows at the Astoria, because Death Angel came back but didn't do the Clarendon, did the Astoria. So they did the Clarendon first show.
Yep.
And then they came back. I think it was Frolic Through the Park. I think that was
Right.
And then they came back to the Astoria, and we were on that one as well.
The Clarendon show, they were playing songs from the second album, but we
it wasn't
didn't know
out
them.
yet.
Yeah,
It
we
wasn't
didn't know.
out yet.
So they were
Yeah.
playing the stuff that we knew, and then they were like, "Oh, let's play some new tracks." And, you know, you
Mistress
kind
of Pain.
Yeah, because it was weird, really.
Andy Gallion was on his school holiday.
Yes,
He was on school vacation for the tour. I think he was 14, 15.
I remember being side stage watching him when we did at Clarendon, and just being absolutely amazed.
Yeah.
What a drummer!
Brilliant.
And it was just
what a band.
Yeah,
Brilliant
absolutely.
band. And they're still, you know, I think a lot of their more modern kind of material, there's pretty good tunes.
Yeah.
The fact that they don't really seem to care about what anyone thinks about music or anything. They just kind of do their own thing. And I think when you listen to the more modern sort of production values and things like that, you know, it sounds different, but there's still that kind of core when you listen to them, you think, they don't really care. They're kind of stuck in the 80s in a good way, that they just kind of, just like, yeah, this is what we do. I'm not going to change it for anyone. I don't really care, you know?
Yeah.
Just going to carry on doing the same kind of thing.
Well, I think Act 3 is one of the greatest metal albums of all time. Never mind like thrash albums or anything like that. It's so diverse.
Yeah.
In fact, the weird thing is, it's way more diverse than anything that they do now. You know, it's just out there. It's absolutely out there. I mean, our drummer is younger than the rest of us, and as in under 30. And the rest of us are in our 40s, and we played him Act 3 recently, and he was just absolutely blown away. Just couldn't believe it. And it was just absolutely epic.
Different
epic.
bunch of guys, though, wasn't it? You know,
Yeah, I guess. And then they became the organisation after Marcos Agueda left, and so I did. Great days, Great days.
Great band. Definitely.
Yeah,
great band.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was dead funny because I hadn't seen them for years, and I did an interview for the podcast for them. I can't remember which album it was on, and I walked into the dressing room, and Mark was looking at me, and he was just like, sort of, like like a dog looks at you and it sort of just turns its head slightly. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, he was looking at me like sort of inquisitively, like, do I know you? And I was like, yeah, you do. And he was like, right, don't tell me. I was like, right, I'm not going to tell you then. And he was trying to figure it out. And I was like, I'm going to have to tell you. I'm going to have to tell you. But they're great guys, and but they look, like I said, that those times where you just have thrash bands playing the Astoria all the time, and usually supported by us.
Yeah, house band.
That's it. Yeah. So anyway, we started this. How did we meet? Because we were gonna have this discussion in the rehearsal room, and I said, right, stop. No, I want to get this on. I want to get this recorded.
There was, I'm not sure where it was.
I gave you an Acid Rain t-shirt. Apparently,
we were fans. We bought Moshkinstein when it came out.
Yeah, because that's what you did.
Yeah.
And there were some other bands as well that we bought their records just because we could. Perhaps bands that weren't very good. And,
not as good.
I think we might have been talking about one of those back in the rehearsal room.
Yeah. But, mentioning no names.
But it was still just a case of, we were supporting the music that we loved, and that was part of it, wasn't it? It was more of a kind of community thing.
Yeah. Well, also, there's suddenly been British bands playing that kind of music is kind of like, oh right, okay, so we might not have to wait forever to see these guys, which of course you didn't. You would have actually seen us before anything was released, because that gig with Sabbath, we had nothing released.
Well, we definitely had the EP. That was the first thing, was the EP, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, Moshkinstein. Yeah.
And
because that gig with Sabbath was, I'd been like pen friends with Andy Sneap for a while.
That was history of the first come era, wasn't it?
That's the first time we'd met. Yeah, it's the first time me and him met. And the rest, as they say, is history. But so was it that gig where we bumped into you two after having been thrown out? Then was it the Flotsam gig?
I'm not sure. No, the Flotsam gig was when we got thrown out. I'm not sure when it was that we would have bumped into you, and you had some merch with you. And I remember you giving Jason a T-shirt because we were explaining that we were at the show, and as soon as it kicked off, we got kicked out. And I think you were just generally being, sort of supportive and saying, "Oh, it's really, really bad that you missed the entire show just because of one kind of incident." And
well, I was really conscious of things like that. I mean, because we were young as well. You know what I mean? I mean, it's like the album came out when we were 18. That first gig supporting Sabbath, we would have been 17. Yeah. So if
you're about the same age.
Yeah, exactly. And also still going to shows and still getting thrown out of shows. I got thrown out of Among the Living tour at Sheffield City Hall. I got thrown out. I remember really lamely getting thrown out through the fire doors, and I turned around and went, "I'm in a band. We're going to come back here. And you're going to lose your job." That's quality. Having been thrown out for stage diving, but so I was still getting, still experiencing the same things you were, but also having. I remember doing our first tour on these, and a couple of kids came up and said they'd got to the venue and they were 16.
Like your headline tour, you mean?
No. We supported Nuclear Assault.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was in Preston, and I think they were maybe been 15, and it was like 16 minimum age entry.
Yeah.
So they weren't going to be able to get in, and I was like, right, okay. So we got them in the venue, and they got to watch sound check, and gave them plectrums, and we introduced them to Nuclear Assault and everything else. I think the main reason being it's great because you hear those stories now and you think, wow, I was such a nice guy. But the point is, at the time, you are genuinely gutted for them because that's probably happened to me like 18 months ago.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not that
the
that far
classic story
apart.
that makes me think of. I can't remember what the venue was. Do you remember when we went down to the Earache show, which was Napalm Death, Bolt Thrower, Carcass, and Morbid Angel's first show?
It was the Grind Crusher tour.
That was it.
It was the first time Morbid Angel had come over. And
We didn't have any money
We
at
were
all.
super excited.
But we didn't have any money.
We didn't have any money, right? And this dickhead that we knew, right, vaguely, this geezer we knew, reckoned that he could get us on the guest list. And we thought, wow, we can turn up as guests and get in for free. And we didn't have any money. We barely had the fucking train fare to get there. So
We jumped over the boundary thing at the tube station. Probably, yeah.
So fair evaded our way into London,
Right.
and then
Which wasn't a capital offence back in
Right.
the day, was
No
it?
gates then.
no, probably yeah, and
Yeah.
then and
Show an old ticket.
Or just barge through.
Just run through.
Yeah.
bollocks. So we got there, and we sort of marched up to the door and said, we're on the guest list. And the fellow went, no, you're not. I'm like, are you sure? No, you're not. And so I started pleading with the security to let us in. So please let us in. We have to see Morbid Angel. And by complete fluke, and this is absolutely true, at that point, somebody stuck their head right down the stairs and said, we need a couple of bodies to do some washing up. And the security went, these two fellas will do it. Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely
story.
true. And we got let into the Kilburn National Ballroom, and we washed up all of the band's dinner
Yeah.
We heard Bolt Thrower go on stage, didn't we, while we were washing
while
up?
we were washing up, and then they gave us a steak dinner, right?
Wow.
And when we finished eating, they let us through into the VIP, and we sat next to Shane Embury and we watched
Carcass.
Carcass and Morbid Angel.
Carcass, Morbid Angel. Was it Napalm Death headlining?
I think they were, yeah.
That's
They were.
awesome.
They
But
were.
it was Symphony of
That is
Sickness, Carcass,
Right.
which is that's the only album of theirs that I like, to be honest. And they were great. And
Morbid Angel were
we'd
amazing.
never seen them play.
Yeah.
Because we, back in the day, we were tape traders, like I'm sure you were as well.
Yeah,
so
absolutely,
I just
yeah.
had a tape of Altars of Madness, and it was like a second generation one, wasn't it? It wasn't even very
So it was
good.
basically a lot of hiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew the kind of the shape of the songs and whatever. So when we went there and saw them do it, it was like so taking this kind of shit sound and whatever, and then actually playing it all, and they were really on the money as
No,
well.
it was brilliant. I'll never forget, Dave Vincent had this boom mic stand, and it was pointed at his chest, so that when he actually played, he sort of lurched over, sort of down onto the mic with his bass, and he just looked so savage.
It was so evil.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I was like, this is what it means to be a death metal band. This is a satanic band. I fucking love this.
Right.
This is everything as a teenage Jason wants to see and hear.
Yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
I didn't know anything about the lineup or anything. I assumed they had a vocalist because I thought the vocals were quite distinctive and quite on.
So it sounded like a proper, like this must be somebody's job, as opposed to that and something else.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
so when we saw them, and it was
Which
just
is the opposite.
and
with
they were
Acid Rain.
the kind of like just a couple of dudes, kind of Hispanic dudes and whatever, and then Dave Vincent, and that's not what I thought. That wasn't at all how I saw Morbid Angel.
Do you know what this is brilliant, because what this is reminding me of is the days of going to see a band and they walk on stage and going, oh, that's what they look like. Yeah, which never happens anymore, Except I recently took a mate of mine from another podcast came over from Ireland. He's from Texas. He came over. He lives in Ireland, and we came over for us to go and see the Beyond up in Derby doing a reformation gig,
Right.
And we stood in a venue, and it was weird because we both had totally opposite experiences. Like I was a play. They supported Acid Rain. I supported them in my band after Acid Rain.
The Beyond?
Yes.
So I've never even heard of them.
Ah, right, okay. Well, drummer went on to be, and is still in therapy. He's been in therapy for 20 years. And, the band, obviously.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm glad you clarified
But,
that.
it's really bizarre. I'm on a bit of a Beyond trip at the moment. Like I did a 3-hour special on them last month, and we were stood in the crowd waiting to go on, waiting for them. And he turns to me, and he goes, "I haven't got a clue what these guys look like." And I was like, "Really?" He goes, because he said that, like, he got the first album somehow in the States, and was a huge fan, and nobody else was, and we went, and he was just stood there and he was going like, I haven't got a clue what these guys look like. And it just really straight away, it just took me back. Do you know what I mean?
But don't forget
to
as
those
well,
days where you would go
but
like
the Metal Forces
you know?
days, like for me as well, on the same thing, you would see the band, and you associate that kind of thing. Let's, like, for instance, Sepultura or whatever. You'd see the pictures of them in schizophrenia. You knew what it sounded like, but you know who's who.
Yes, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't know what they looked like. It was like, I don't know who the vocalist is. And I actually thought, I didn't know that Max Cavalera was who he is in the pictures, because he didn't look like the frontman to me.
Yeah, that's
He
right.
kind of
yeah,
looked
'cause
like the drummer or whatever.
That's
you
it,
know?
yeah, because do you know what? I had the exact same thing with the Crumbsuckers. I had the same thing. I saw a picture of the
don't know what they look
Crumbsuckers,
like.
and I was just like, "That's blasphemy."
I know what they sound like. I just don't know what they look like.
Yeah, but I was just like, right, well, he's clearly the singer. Because he stood near the front,
Yeah.
and he's got the nicest hair.
got the
Turns out it wasn't him. And I was like, but the thing is, it's almost like through me. Do you know what I mean? It's like yeah, it's true. Just got to really... But it is, it's just like, no, surely it's not him.
And Voivod, when I first saw Voivod, in the pictures, you keep reading about this band, and it looked really like unusual, and I couldn't find anyone that actually knew what they sounded like. So I keep seeing them in Metal Forces and all that kind of stuff, and think I really want to check out this band. But you look at them and you think there's no one obvious who the vocalist is. Who's who? What's going on here? Like it's just some dudes.
Didn't you get Raw and War and Pain first?
No, don't mention Hatros.
Was it Hatros you got first?
Yeah. Really.
I was just saying to Paul, this is Paul Ishead playing in the background.
is,
The gig I did last night, the comedy gig I did last night, was
in
2 miles from Paul
Portishead.
Ishead. Yeah, I know, yeah. It's bizarre. Well, again, it's more. God, this is like podcast for old cunts, isn't it? This really is like, the good old days when you didn't know who the fuck anyone was, and you could wash up to get into a gig those days.
And we did.
You didn't have to hand over your DNA and a fucking credit card to get everywhere.
And there's that whole thing as well about seeing a band's logo. Do you remember that? I remember you'd go to a gig and you'd see someone with a name of a band on their jacket.
Yes.
And it would be like, the logo looks amazing. Who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
I remember once seeing, we were a little bit later, seeing Entombed with this kind of gothic kind of script of the original logo on someone's jacket, and thinking, wow, I've got to check out Entombed. I wonder what they sound like. I thought, dreadful. I'm so glad I didn't buy that album.
But just based on the logo.
The logo?
Yeah.
Wow, this has got to be some good stuff.
But you do. It was where you saw bands wearing T-shirts. It's like, I mean, most people in Britain, their first experience of DRI or suicidal tendencies was a T-shirt or a baseball cap worn by Anthrax or someone else.
Yes,
and you just went
absolutely.
like,
Misfits.
It's the same. I bought the first Suicidal album purely on the basis of the amount of bands who I'd seen.
Yeah.
So I remember getting it.
like
It
an
arrived. Yeah, it arrived from Shades.
Before you had
on
any
import.
idea what it sounded like.
Not a clue.
Now I tell you what. Here's a
Explain that to the kids of today.
Well, here's a leap of faith for you. Talking of Shades, because there was Shades in St Anne's Court in Soho, and there was Shades in Nottingham.
Right.
In
okay.
'87, I went up with some school friends for the Monsters of Rock Festival, and I went up the day before on my own on the National Express coach, and I had to collect the tickets from Shades. Right, and I think I had about a 20 quid budget for the whole weekend, right? And I went into Shades, and I'd never been in the Nottingham branch. So I thought, well, while I'm here, I'll have a nose around the racks. And I'm fingering through the records, and I find the first Bathory album.
Right, okay.
Now I pull this cover out, this album sleeve, and it's got the goat on the front, the logo,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I flipped it over, and it has the white pentacle, and it just said "Side Darkness" and "Side Evil."
That's what you need.
And as soon as I saw that, I said, I don't know what this is or what it sounds like, but this is coming home with me.
Yeah.
And I blew 25% of my weekend budget on a record that I then had to carry around all weekend in the pouring rain.
Yeah, and
But
I still didn't know what it. You wouldn't find out what it sounded like till you got home.
Yeah. But God, I got home and I put that needle into that groove, and it changed my fucking life.
I was like that with
Changed my
Possessed.
life.
Possessed was the one for me.
Based on just like a vibe of I'm gonna.
But the logo for Possessed, that means any band that could have a logo like Possessed, to me, that was just like, again, that changed my life at that point. You know, I loved heavy metal. We were listening to Slayer and you know, all those kind of
Early
thrash
Metallica.
bands. Yeah, and then when I heard Possessed, I saw the cover. And they were like, you don't need to put anything on the cover. It's like, bro, just put the name. Possessed.
With a
7
huge
churches.
inverted cross.
I saw that and I just thought, this is it. This is it.
And then turning it over, and it wasn't until I sort of grew up a bit that I realised that the flames around the band are sort of like bits cut out from magazines and sort of glued in, because it looks like they're sort of, you know, posing on their amps and stuff, and they're like they're on fire and shit. But actually, it's not. It's some really sort of old photo montage kind of technique. It's pathetic. But I looked at that and just thought, I want to be in this band.
Yeah.
This is the band I want to be in.
Yeah.
I remember going down to Music for Nations with the first Acid Rain demo, and it was just me and Gaz went down there with it.
Yeah.
And we went in and I remember
Where were they then? Where was
they
MFN
were?
then?
It was in Carnaby Street.
Right.
It was in Carnaby Street, proper old school. So and we went in there, and I remember being sat on the sofa and Gaz turning to me and going, just think Possessed might have sat on this sofa. And that was,
Who has been here? Bananarama.
But it was just like such a buzz to even think
mate.
that we might be sat on the same sofa that
Mike
Possessed,
Suss.
that Possessed.
Amazing.
Amazing.
That's so cool.
And for me, those albums, the Possessed albums, still no one's topped those for me. For me, because I'm an old git, when I listen to that, I just hear the whole sort of sincerity of music that we used to play at that time. You know, and I think you as well. You know, like I think it's safe to say that the people that were changing music and that were saying this is our style of heavy metal, the sincerity that was involved with that, you don't get it anymore. You know, it's you can be sincere about what you're playing and how much you believe in it, but there was something going on in heavy metal at that time.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's almost. I think A, you're right, and B, we've had these various movements that have changed things. We've had thrash, death metal, grunge, new metal, black metal. How could I possibly leave that out?
Slam.
And
What was that?
God, let's not forget funk metal for a short while there as well.
God, yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. But the point I'm making is that the last great movement of those was new metal, which is a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's over a decade ago.
Slipknot though. That's new metal.
Well,
Is it?
I don't personally don't categorise Slipknot as new metal.
What's new metal? Define. for
Korn.
us.
Korn started the. It's more about the groove than it is about the riff.
Yeah,
That's when the age of the riff kind of started ebbing away, and I think. I remember a lot of my friends, a lot of my metal friends saying like, well, no, because I actually liked Korn, but a lot of my metal friends saying like, well, no, there's not enough musicality to it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I was like, Jesus, this is like going back
People
20
listening
years.
to Autopsy. Which is not musical.
The irony.
but this is like me. This was like me playing Kill 'Em All to my older heavy metal peers, and them going, no, that's too fucking no. It's not musical enough.
Yeah.
I'm thinking all these years later, and like people my own age are going like, no, because there's no riffs, there's no riffs in there, there's no solos. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of different. They're just going somewhere different. Well, different. I don't bloody like it. And but it's been a long time since we had a serious. We're due a serious innovation. We're due a coal. You know, we're due a pandemic.
But then again, the shape of music for consumers, you know, it's very different now because. Just my opinion, but the MySpace generation changed it, because if you had a couple of photographs of 4 blokes in a room and put, you know, something you recorded in your bedroom online, you were a band.
Yeah.
You know, and then we've gone into Facebook and the rest of it, and there are lots of bands that really, it's not really a band, is it? It's just, you know, something that you do at the weekends or whatever. And now anyone can record anything anytime, can't they? You know, so we've changed the shape of music and how you purchase music, because everything now is online. You don't need to buy an album to know what it sounds like. You can literally just go onto YouTube and listen to 30 seconds and say, no, I'm not going to bother. Whereas before, if you bought an album, you're still kind of helping the machine, you know, sort of move, aren't you? You know, you're part of the process.
Well, I totally agree, because I again, you know, if you as we all did back in the day, if you bought a CD, you talked earlier about, like, you know, an album that was, you know, 25% of your weekend budget.
Yeah.
If I think when you got that CD or that album, like I did with Suicidal Tendencies, you know, it was an import. You've spent a lot of money on it. You are going to play it until you like it. Do you know what I mean? Unless you really don't, and then you're going to, like, try and swap it with somebody. But the point is that you're like, you might play it once and go, oh, I'm not sure, but you're going to play it a good few times, and you're really going to pay attention to it. Yeah. Because you've laid money out on it, as opposed to listen to 15-20 seconds and go, nah.
You know, not wishing to dwell too much on the nostalgia thing, as I fear we already have, but it was
I'll steer the fucking interview.
Getting an album.
Another 20 minutes of the past coming up.
Like your Suicidal Tendencies album coming as an import, that's an event in your life. You know, that's something you remember.
Yeah.
You know, and when, you know, back to the Metal Forces days again, I used to have to go to my local record shop on my bike and order these records, because of course they wouldn't have them, you know. Yeah. And then I'd sort of stop by on my way home from school or whatever, and are they in yet? And the day that the lass in there went, yeah, they're in, I'd go, yes. You know, it's a real moment to get them home and, like, play them and look at the covers and read the lyrics.
Well, me and my best friend,
and
my best friend had were waiting for the second Violence to come out album to come out. Wow. Oppressing the Masses. We've been waiting, and literally ringing Red Rhino in York every week, going, is it in yet? Every Monday.
Not you again.
Yeah. Is it? Yeah. basically, yeah. And we were on our way back from a night out in Newcastle, and we called in at services, and there was a payphone. And I rang I rang Red Rhino, because I knew their telephone number off by heart, and I rang them from a call box at a service station on the A1 and said, look, you know, is it in yet? And they go, yeah, it's arrived, got them here. And we went, right, we're on our way, because we're on the A1 anyway, we can go to we're on our way. So I put the phone down, the two of us we ran to my mate's car, we got in the car, we pegged it out, I mean, you know, we ran to the car, we got in the car, we drove off right onto the motorway, got pulled over on the motorway by the police who'd been in the service station, and we'd seen them see us run to the car, and we were in the car going, I bet we look really suspicious, don't we? We got pulled over on the A1, and they were like, right boys, what's the rush? And I went, well, do you realise Violence is the masses? It's like,
have you ever met them? You know? Violence?
No, I never did.
I met Rob Flynn.
I met Rob Flynn, and he actually was so flaky, and I was really shocked.
I thought he was a really nice bloke. I only met him briefly.
He was fine. I saw him at the Kerrang Awards, and I was with a lass who was a big Machine Head fan.
Right.
And I said to Adam, look, young lady I'm with really likes your band. Can I just trouble you just to come and say hello? It would really, you know, she'd love it. And he did, and it was really good of him. And I said, I really liked Violence back in the day. You know, I'm an old git, you know, and I remember the first album. Yeah, it was fantastic, you know, great album. And he was like, oh yeah.
Oh really?
I said, yeah. He said, well, okay then. He said, if you're such a fan, tell me some of the song titles. I said, "What?" And I thought, that's not what I expected him to say. That was a real kind of
It's like, well, phobophobia, calling the coroner,
yes,
serial killer, whatever,
And I thought, that's not what I expected. And he was cool, but that's not what I expected him to say.
I think you might have got him in that period where he was still trying to shake off violence, and it was like, no, this is the thing. Do you know what I mean? Because of course they've since did a I don't know if you've seen it on YouTube. He got up and they did a few violent songs at the Killian On Demand, the Sean Killian
Benefit
gig.
Yes, I've not seen it, but I was aware of the show.
Yeah. So you might have got him in one of those like odd phases, you know, but not as odd as the new album. But there you go. So anyway,
you probably want to get a refill, I would imagine.
I'd love one. Should I pause in the refill?
No, I'm all right, mate. Actually, I'll have a half if you don't mind. Is it on the band card?
It is, yeah. I've got to ask Banco to scan them, the band finance.
Yeah, but there's always got to be somebody in the band.
Responsible.
Who looks after the thing? What's it called again? Money.
Yeah. He is good.
Responsible one.
He is good with money. Unlike me.
Paul, can I have some sticks? You good, thanks.
Paul must please Uncle Paul.
Just a half, please. Thank you.
Paul, do you want to get some crisps or some nuts? Top man, thanks, buddy.
God, this is getting more rock and roll by the minute, isn't
We're
and some heroin and chicks.
and some pork scratchings. Can I get a skinny latte?
So we've gone from like you guys meeting your thrash heroes, i.e. me.
Mike's us, you mean?
But you've. But then you've now drifted to the darker side, and you're going in like Morbid Angel and Carcass, which is towards it, and that quite clearly kind of steered you musically,
definitely,
and influence. So kind of thrash was. What were you traditional into trad metal at that point, or was thrash?
I was so much really. I mean, Iron Maiden very early on was something for me. But I still listen to that sort of Paul Di'Anno stuff and still feel the sort of
that special feeling.
Yeah, the kind of energy of that. I still get it. I must admit, I don't really listen to the sort of Dickinson Maiden at all. Really.
But you see, that was my
I'll tell Bruce that.
My inroad.
I've met him as well, and I was. Because he's so sort of
mauve.
He's so mauve that I've had a few Paul Di'Anno quips. I thought if he starts rinsing us, then I'm going to pull out a few of those.
Well, I'd go so far as my experience with Bruce is the man's an utter cunt.
Very good.
But I tend not to mince my words. The thing, it's just
Any road.
Met him. It's absolutely horrible.
So my inroad was from when I was 10. Was Motorhead. Somebody gave me a copy of No Sleep Till Hammersmith, and then the very first record that I bought with my own money, the very first album that I bought with my own money was Number of the Beast.
Right. Okay.
So I came in from a sort of Nwabahum kind of angle because I was on a mission then, and there were some older kids at school who had sort of longish hair. I used to sort of hang out and chat with them, and they would benevolently pass tapes my way of things like Black Sabbath Volume 4, and immediately I became a massive Aussie era Sabbath fan, and then Heaven and Hell to this day I still think is, if aliens came to Earth and I had to encapsulate in a nutshell what heavy metal is, I would give them that album, Neon Nights with Dio. It's just, for me, it's ultimate.
I must admit, I'm one band to have two iconic vocalists is amazing. But I can't. There's, one day I prefer the Dio era, one day prefer Aussie era. You got Heaven and Hell. You go, but Sabotage. And it's like, okay, fair enough.
I like it all, but in summary, I came from a more traditional heavy metal background,
right?
And then when the thrash thing started happening, and the crossover thing, our little band of school friends, started getting into that, and I heard. Phantom Lord by Metallica was one of the first sort of fast tracks that I heard, which if you listen to it now isn't very fast at all, but at the time it was banging.
Yeah.
And then then when I hooked up with Dave, when we started playing, we started sharing records and whatever. It was just a constant voyage from then to find stuff that was more and more extreme. You know, the Teutonic thrash thing was really, really appealing because the American stuff always seemed to be a bit more polished and a bit more sort of proficient. And over in Germany, they were just trying to play as fast as possible.
Yeah.
And with varying degrees of success.
Yeah.
But, that was it really. We were just on a mission really.
And I remember that you gave me a C90 cassette of Leprosy on one side and The Fear on the other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it ran out before the end of the album. The album was actually longer than the side of the tape.
45 minutes.
And
Yeah,
we
yeah.
delivered you out your royalties.
Getting them back now. Another pint, please.
That was a great album. Really good album.
Well, yeah, I met. I did an interview with Fish from Marillion recently, and I mentioned that I'd had a copy of Brief Encounter, which on input, but it was clipped, had a hole in it, and when they were clipped, it meant that they didn't have to pay import duty on them because they were considered to be damaged. And literally, you'd have somebody from the record company sat there, just with a hole puncher, punching a hole in the corner of records.
That's mental.
To mean they were damaged, so they could be shipped without import tax.
That's really interesting.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, you owe me money." It was, do you remember them now? You know, you would occasionally come across a record, have like a hole punch corner in it, or the corner cut off.
Yeah.
And you just think, it's cheap. I don't care. Obviously, it's damaged, so I'm getting it cheaper. I don't care. But invariably, it was the label damaging stuff on purpose. To knock it out.
Idea.
So they could avoid paying royalties on it. Fucking ridiculous.
Bastards.
That's amazing though. That was your Leprosy and The Fear. Wow.
What a tape! Same time. What a tape! It was kind of. It must have been the same time, like 88, 89.
That's 89 is The Fear. Yeah, and 89 is.
Which is a great record.
Oh, thank you very much.
No, it's
Thank
a
you.
great record. I mean, I think it stands up today as a piece of work from that time. Absolutely.
Oh, great, thank you.
No, I really think so. I don't know. Was it
Splendid, Paul, thank you.
different people in the band after that? Like,
Obnoxious was a different lineup. We swapped 2 members out.
different sort of creative.
Yeah, well, the weird thing is that I still think, for me, it's always the same, isn't it? When you're in the band, it's different to everything. But for me, that was, Obnoxious is where we actually found our sound, as opposed to we were still kind of diddling about on the first 2 albums and kind of like experimenting, whereas it came to fruition and really gelled on the 3rd album, which it's weird because very few people who are into Acid Rain that actually made it through all 3 albums, that actually made that journey, and especially the 3rd album being slightly different to the first 2, less punky, less doomy, but again, it was. I personally felt sort of more coherent. I just want to keep it away from that.
I was just going to say this.
Yeah. Just getting some crisps in. Well, that's amazing. That was your introduction to it.
What about which record had the Blondie cover on? Hanging on the telephone.
It was never on. It was released as a single.
There you go.
It was released as a single, but we released it on the Christmas single 1989, and it said "Have an obnoxious New Year," which bit of marketing there. Some people actually noticed that a few years later. Thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.
And but so when did you go from we're massive fans of this to let's do this?
I know, we were playing.
We were doing it already.
Yeah, we were always playing since
Really?
'87. Oh yeah,
That's how we hooked up.
We had a 4-track audio cassette that goes straight into the 4-track. And we used to do P's and M's, didn't we? And we would just sort of
Oh, the old Fostex, yeah.
would sort of bounce down the track, so it'd just be the 2 of us because we couldn't find anyone else that really connected on the same level as us, that had the same kind of intentions,
Same interests.
So we used to record really crude sort of songs that we'd get together ourselves, and then we would meet other people and we would kind of jam, and for about 6 months we'd try and get something together. That wouldn't work, and then it wasn't until 1990 when we met Steve Wood, wasn't it, that things really again we started, I think, for us, we developed the sort of the core identity, which I think we still have, to be quite honest. And that's just that we've got a very diverse kind of musical taste, and we always wanted to incorporate that in our songs. We were never just, this is what it's all about. And a lot of the people early on, when we would do demo tapes and things, would say, oh no, I like all of this, but I don't like the indie riffs that you bring into it. And you think,
what indie riffs?
Yeah. And they were like, oh yeah, it's okay, but until you start turning into goths 3 minutes in, it's rubbish. I mean, just like... Then we started to appeal to people that had the same sort of interest in music that we had, and then you kind of, right, see, now there's people that have more
eclectic, broad views
about music, and then you kind of think, right, this is where it's happening. We were never really into just sounding like, I mean, I love the ear-side, but we would never write a song that was just attack all the way through. Very rarely. There would usually be something that would have a different shape or a different sort of texture.
We've never ever borrowed any riffs from Dear.
Oh no! Good heavens! No. But I think that was just the thing. It took a while to develop our own thing.
Right, say attack all the time. After a while, it's just boring. You've got to have light and shade. You've got to have
that's
dynamics.
That's not extreme, because people will say, "Oh, this is really extreme music." And you think it's not, because you get used to the fact that they're playing at 360 BPM every song, all album. That's not extreme, is it? Because you're becoming used to what you're.
It washes over you.
You have to then change what you're doing and how you're doing it to therefore retain the extremity. But in 1990, there were very, very few bands that were actually singing like clean vocals and things like that. Mm-hmm. And when the Morbid Angel thing happened for us, when we first heard that, they were one of the first bands that we recognised that were using blast beats in a traditional song sense. Because up until then, it had all been like Repulsion, where you were either all the way through...
Spastic Blur.
Yeah, or not.
Bloody hell, there's a name.
Yeah. But that we really we took that on board, and we thought, well, you know what? Well, we can have singing, clean kind of vocals, and we can have blast beats, and we can have like skank thrash stuff as well. That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
Let's just do that. And still, this is what, 30 years on, we're still doing that. You know?
Still haven't grown up, and we never will.
No.
Yeah. I met Steve Wood on a bus between Uxbridge and West Drayton, and I started talking to him because he was wearing a Slayer Root of All Evil t-shirt. I went, hey, mate, do you like Slayer? And he went, yeah.
But that, how many? I mean, just to interject, we'll carry on on this bus churning. But how many marriages exist because of things like that? How many bands are forming? Because back in those days, where you didn't have so much access to information, you would see somebody. If you saw somebody in a Slayer shirt, you'd go up and talk to them, because that's probably never going to happen again.
Right.
At that time,
not in my hometown.
Yeah, exactly. You're just like, wow, somebody else who's in on this.
Yeah, exactly.
So we've instantly, it's like, this guy could be a complete dick, but we've got something in common, and you want to kind of share it.
Yeah.
It was at that time, I think, that it's different now, but when we were growing up and when we were heavy metal fans, you had to have hair, you had to have long hair, you had to have a biker jacket, you had to look
the uniform.
Yeah. And then when you were walking through, Feltham High Street or whatever, and you see someone else that looks like you're at the very least, you kind of give them a kind of a big up, don't you? Like, hey, say wearing a, Possessed t-shirt or whatever it is, and you'd be like, oh, you know them too. That was something kind of special,
I remember walking. I did an interview in Harrogate a couple of years ago for the local paper, and I had an Acid Rain shirt on, as I do a lot, because you've got to repping the brand, repping the band, repping the brand, repping the band, and I was walking down Harrogate High Street, and there was a bloke and a woman coming the other way. The bloke had an Iron Maiden t-shirt on, and they were walking past, and I just saw this bloke clock my t-shirt, and he turns to his girlfriend and he goes, "Good band."
How lovely.
And I thought, I'll take that. Do you know, I'll take it. But yeah, exactly. It was so rare though, wasn't it? It's like, because the thing is, if you saw somebody coming the other way in like a Slayer t-shirt or something like that, you would think straight away, well, I don't recognise this person. I thought I knew everybody who had a Slayer shirt in this town. Do you know what I mean? And then it's like, what? There's somebody outside of my circle of friends who's into Slayer. Because you do. It was so, so small that you would think, well, we're the only ones here that know this. So you ended up having a conversation on the bus.
And at the end of that bus journey, which wasn't very long at all, I'd ascertained that not only did he like Slayer, but he had a guitar and was learning to play it. And that was sort of common interest enough to say to Dave, we should get this bloke down and have a jam. Yeah. And thus Salem Orchid was born, really.
Yeah.
Salem Orchid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were in like Metal Forces and things like that, weren't we? And then, the demo section. I don't know. No, by then it was Thrash and Burn.
That's right.
Thrash and
Our
Burn.
previous incarnation was in Metal Forces, wasn't it?
Because it kind of
So we were too
changed,
fast,
didn't
too
it?
enthusiastic.
So Thrash and Burn was the thing at that time. Yeah.
That is a lovely way to be put down, though, isn't
Sure,
it?
it's
Too
great, but
enthusiastic.
We thought, yeah,
like there is such a thing.
Buy that for
you know?
$1.
Yeah.
Because only a journalist could write that as a criticism. You know what I mean?
Too fast.
Everyone else going like, "Have you seen this? We're too enthusiastic."
What,
Out of control.
do you remember Recipients of Death?
Oh, mate.
Ooh, I don't think I do. No.
What?
No.
Ah, you haven't lived. When I saw the demo review of Recipients of Death, and it said, these guys are playing too fast for their own good, I went out and just like, right, I need that. That's what I want.
We were talking about violence. I remember reading in Metal Forces a review of a violence gig, and whoever wrote it said, violence stalk the stage like uncaged animals, right? And in my imagination, I thought, if ever I get to play on a stage, that's how I want
I'm
to
going to stalk the stage like an
uncaged animal.
Yeah.
I thought that was amazing. Yeah.
And Recipients of Death really did sound like that, though. It's like, we can't really play this fast, but we're going to do it anyway. I respect that.
Numbskull.
Yeah.
Do you remember Numbskull?
No. Do you remember Reactor?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Check out. What was it called? It was
Ritually
Abused. Check out Ritually Abused by Numbskull. Numbskull with a B, as I remember, or maybe it's just NUM Skull. But yeah, great up. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. No.
Excellent. so you get him down. You get him down to rehearsals.
Yeah, and we had some feasibly.
Could he play? I mean, he was learning to play.
Yeah, but the thing is,
Could he play well enough?
Well, yeah, and the thing that was Dave, and he was a quick learner. And as Dave alluded to, Steve is one of these oddballs like us that he liked music, So
Right.
when he started to hear sort of like left field stuff, because that was the other thing, wasn't it? That people would have records that you didn't have, and you'd have records that people didn't have, and then you shared those records.
Yeah.
Slowly, his mate bought Slowly We Rock when it came out, and that was a real moment in time for me. It was just the heaviest thing I'd ever heard, ever. And, Dave had some Celtic Frost records, I had Possessed records, and, so we listened to everything. But Steve was up for the Paradise Lost influence and the
Killing Joke
influence,
Wow.
and the early MDB influence as well. We were influenced by very early MDB, and he was up for the crack of just sort of mashing it all up and seeing what came out the other end. So yeah, he was in.
Some people you would meet, and they're really into the really full-on madness of the death metal and whatever. And we always loved that. But we did still really like Killing Joke and those other kind of bands that were not necessarily very cool to be into.
Well, certainly not if you were into metal. No.
Yeah, but that was always really part of the bigger picture for us. And at that stage, it wasn't cool. I think nowadays, no one really cares, and I think we tend to appeal to people that do like Killing Joke as well as Deicide or whatever.
but the other thing is like, you know, we've always been like real Rush enthusiasts, and then, you know, Mr. Scanlon here, you know, that's one of the bands that, you know, ties us together. You know, that we're all huge Rush enthusiasts and have been since we were kids. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and there's a band that has never been afraid to sort of experiment with texture and light and shade, and indeed like whole revisions in their output and their style. Complete stylistic revisions,
and sort of uncool as well.
Desperately uncool.
Yeah, it's the sort of the nerdy thing that, you know, we always really shared, wasn't it? You know, it's like we were really into Suffocation. All three of us were really into Suffocation, but actually we really like Rush quite a lot as well.
Right. Yeah. Just don't tell anyone.
We wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily tell everyone that, you know, back then. Nowadays it's cool. You can just do what you want. But yeah, it's different now, isn't it? Yeah.
Paul, how did we meet? You reminded me of this story the other day.
The Lady O in Arms.
The Lady O in Arms, the sister pub of the Sir George Roby.
Ah.
With the infamous light bulb on the ceiling that would light up if you played too loud. And then cut the power to the PA.
Ruby.
No, at the Lady O. They had a fucking light bulb in the middle of the, like a yellow or an orange light bulb, and if you cranked the amps too much, it would sort of glow, and then if it went on bright for long enough, it would turn the power off.
It's not on, is it?
Bloody wasn't.
Do you remember when they killed the PA? We were playing the show. Do you remember that?
In the Red Eye.
The Red Eye, yeah.
Red Eye, and they.
It was basically a riot, wasn't it? It was hilarious.
Yeah, they killed the PA, but we carried on playing anyway.
Yeah. And kids
No
started
vocals.
throwing monitors around and bread bins and stuff. It was hilarious.
That was funny.
Proper violent gig.
It was a cross-fire gig. So we met at the Lady O in Arms.
Yeah.
And what was going on there?
We were doing a gig and you were doing a gig.
Ah.
You got to borrow my amp,
There you go.
which was unethical in those days.
Yeah.
Bought your own head.
Yeah.
So he asked to borrow my amp.
What?
Yeah.
Did you lend it me?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, top man. Because those days we didn't drive, right? And we were from.
They didn't bring anything with them.
Well, no, but I mean, you got to remember,
On the black.
Howard. You got to remember that there was one occasion when we played with Sir George Roby. Steve Wood and I carried a Marshall 4x12 on the tube from Uxbridge to Finsbury Park.
Did it have wheels on it?
No wheels. What? We didn't even know you could get them with wheels. Yeah, I mean that was dedication to the cause, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. that is any time. I'd imagine that also means that any time, if you ever hear any member of anyone's road crew moaning, you've got a story that you can just pull out and go, do you know what, mate? Why don't you fucking shut up?
Yeah.
I mean,
Why'd you nick it?
there was the kick drum on the tube as well. I've taken a kick drum on the tube before.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, I mean, that's a 50-minute journey when you sort of sit there getting in everyone's way and then walk about with a kick drum.
Yeah, you're not very popular, are you? Really on the tube with a fucking.
Especially like being a 16-year-old git who's finding it very difficult to carry that kick drum. It's like,
Oh god.
get out of the way.
So how did you end up getting signed? So you've got a lineup now. How did you end up getting signed?
No, that was years later, wasn't it?
It was a long time later. Yeah, long
Oh
time
right,
later.
so there was years of just fucking about.
Well, we called it trying to be serious musicians, but now you come to mention it, it was a bit more like fucking about.
Right, cool.
Desperately been struggling musicians.
Well, I mean, demo time, like in 1990, 91, whatever. I think we got our sound. I think personally.
What, Salem Orchid?
Yeah, that was like the sound that we still do now.
Yeah,
That was the sound.
pretty much.
And then we split up the band, and then we didn't do anything for ages. And
4
then,
years.
Years after that,
The lost years.
yeah, and then like
Should put out a box set with nothing in it.
Do you want to be our manager?
I'm managing them.
Blank CDs.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
92 to
Vinyl
96.
grooves on it.
Yeah, 92 to 96, the lost years. Fucking nothing in there.
John Cale
Yeah.
did it, didn't he? John Cale released an album of silence. That's art, apparently.
Just put a nice picture on it.
Well, let's put a dampener on it.
Oh,
It's already been done.
Sorry.
Shit.
So yeah, there was after the lost years, David. What happened next?
So we got together. We all knew each other, didn't we?
Yeah,
and we
since
would.
about 1990.
Yeah.
So we knew each other, but we decided, because that was at the stage when we were hanging around with lots of musicians. People were getting deals all around us. We knew lots of people that were getting record deals, not heavy metal, but doing sessions and things like that, and generally trying to be involved with music on a sort of professional level, wasn't it? We were trying to make money through music.
I was road crew,
Sessions and stuff like that. And then we just thought, because you and I were doing the tour, I was session drums, you were guitar tech with this pop band, and we were thinking, we're going to all these venues and thinking, we want to come to this venue, but we want to play with our band. Next time we come here, it should be our band.
We're on that tour, right, and Fritz is this twits in this fucking pop band, but the geezer who drove the bus was an old metaler, Russ the Bus, who was a soldier, and he let us play our music on the driver system. So in the lounge, they were listening to whatever they were listening to.
Yeah.
And we were sat up the front with Russ, and Dave had Suffocation tape, Effigy of the Forgotten, and we were listening to Effigy of the Forgotten, weren't we? Go to all these university venues and whatnot, listening to Effigy of the Forgotten, going, yeah. It's about time we did something, isn't it, really? Yeah.
So we just got together. We thought it's that time. It's the time for us to sort of make music again. We hadn't done it for a few years, but we'd still all in touch. And then we got together, started to record music, started to write music, and then going back one step slightly. You know when Shades was the only kind of place in London where you could buy thrash.
Absolutely. St Anne's Court. Yeah.
But it was around 89, 90 that Tower Records in Piccadilly started to actually import all of the records.
Yes.
So I would get £100 saved up and then go to Tower Records, and all the records that I've been reading about, Game Over, and
what an album!
all those kind of things that were kind of on the periphery, like
Second Wave, Forbidden Evil.
Yeah, Forbidden Evil. All those kind of great records. And I'd go there and just buy 10 albums at a time or whatever. And so we knew Pip that used to work at Tower Records.
Yep.
And
by the way, by this time, I'm sat here going, because I know exactly what you mean, because by this time I had a friend living in London who I used to come and visit a lot, and ended up moving down here as well. So I totally remember that fucking huge. I still remember getting hold of a prong tour edition of Cleansing, which is impossible to get hold of, and I managed to get hold of it there. So I know exactly what you mean.
So that was the time at Tower. So that was a slightly more a cooler, sort of accessible place to actually get real music from, whereas it was quite exclusive before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And that's actually it makes an interesting segue into the first Akercocke album, because I don't know if it was. I think it was still.
Check him out with his segues.
We recorded the first album live in 5 hours in the room you were just in, the rehearsal room you were just in. Originally as a demo, so we played it live. We just put some mics up in the room, and the most laughable process. I won't wax lyrical too much about it, but anyway, I went out and got a manufacturing and distribution deal, and we self-released it. And the thing that was extraordinary was somebody called me, I forget who it was, and said, "Your album's all over fucking Tower Records." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And the distribution company, for reasons known only to themselves, had given it such a leg up that they put up sort of banners and stuff, to say, "Get this here, get it here." I was absolutely flabbergasted. I didn't believe it, and I went to Tower Records myself, and lo and behold, there was not just under A was Akercocke, there was posters and shit up, and really?
Was it someone like Pip?
Well,
used to work there.
Well, let me take a step back,
One of the
because
guys in the Devon's Church.
no, Pip used to work there.
Pip did work there, yeah.
I think he kind of.
I made the link
on some of that.
Oh, there you go.
Excuse me, gents. Let me just go back a second. I got Pip's number from Nicky Lodi.
Oh, yeah.
He used to work in Kingston Tower.
Right.
So I went down to
there was a
Pip.
Kingston Tower.
And Nicky from Crematorium used to work there, who knew
Crematorium.
Pip really well. So I got Pip's number. I went down with a box of CDRs of Rape,
Wow.
and he said, "Bruv, I'm all over this." He said, "I'll put this in the shop." I said, all right, so what, you know, like, we worked out how much per unit.
Who was this, Nicky or Pip?
So I used to take a box of Rape of the Bastard Nazarenes, which was our first sort of demo album, and I gave them to Pip, and he would sell them. And he punted them.
Way.
That's what we used to do.
No fucking way.
And that was then, who released Rape after that?
Well, the manufacturing...
It's a rather unfortunate nickname for an album, isn't it?
Yeah, Rape of the Bastard.
I say that, but I like it.
the Vendors Records, our record label, released it first, but it was
And that's because
distributed.
I used to take it to Pip.
But it was distributed by Plastic Head.
That was when then they came back, and all of a sudden it went from being $6.99 per unit to being $11.99 per unit, and it was like,
But it had a barcode.
Right. You became you became establishment.
Part of the machine.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that was that.
But that's old school. That's punk. That's
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah,
Pay no
doing
more
it
than
yourself.
£3.50.
Yeah, DIY.
Charge GPH.
And
Yeah.
the thing was, at that time,
Macbeth.
we got lots of press and Terrorizer back at the time.
Akercocke.
So we got album of the month in Terrorizer. It was the first ever self-released album
And
to
it
get
kicked
album
off.
of the month, and that was and they spelled our fucking name wrong. So how many years has the band been going? 20 what?
About 20. We're in our 21st year now.
Right, so 21 years. People are still fucking spelling our name
I
wrong.
was going to say, presumably,
I spell it wrong
you're used to
sometimes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, we seen Terrorizer. It said we opened it up and we're like, great! It's our first interview in Terrorizer. We opened it up and it's Akercocke.
Oh.
Not a K, it's a B.
Oh, no, that's possibly the worst, though, isn't it? That is.
Well, we didn't mind because they were so nice. And they've got album of the month, and there was the whole piece in the band and whatever. And you know, we didn't expect anything like that, because we literally had a demo that we recorded ourselves.
Yeah.
And we were at Martin's place, mixing it and recording, you know, stuff ourselves, everything.
Nice stuff.
And then everyone was sort of like in Terrorizer. We had Greg and Nick
Terry.
Everyone phoned us up saying, "Oh, you got to come down and meet us." We fucking, you know, we listen to this every day. It's always on rotation, and we just thought,
Really?
we'd have to put out like a couple of albums, you know, play some higher profile shows.
Yeah.
If anyone even noticed us. So we were kind of like, okay, I'm not prepared at all.
Yeah.
Can I tell you a story?
Please do.
I want to tell you a story.
Yeah.
So David and I went up to meet the Terrorizer lot, did our first ever band interview, and then they took us out for curry afterwards. And then this bloke who wasn't one of the staff writers, he was a freelancer bloke called Nails. And have you ever lied in an interview, Howard?
Oh, all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is right.
Have I ever lied in an interview?
These days not so much. These days I tend to be pretty straight down the line.
Oh yeah, but back in the day.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
There was a little bit of truth in some interviews. Yeah. Mostly lies.
Yeah. So we're in this curry house, and this fellow Nail says to me, making chit chat over the dinner table. He says, "So when you're not playing in the band, what do you do? You know, what's your day job?" And I thought, I can't tell him what I do. It's so interminably boring. and so, feeling a bit flustered and on the spot, I just said the first thing that came into my head. So I said to him, "I'm an embalmer."
Oh yeah.
Right? And he said, "Really?" I said, yeah. He said, "No." He said, "No, you're..." I said, "No, straight up, I am an embalmer." And he said, "Well, if you're an embalmer, how many incisions do you need to make in an adult male torso to get the embalming fluid in?" I said, 4. He went, "No, it's 6. I said, "How do you know?" He said, "I'm an embalmer."
Oh no.
Yeah, but the answer being, no, it's not an embalmer.
Nels isn't an embalmer, but he's worked in the game and he knew his shit. And of all the lies I could have told, and of all the people I could have told it to, it was a bloke who worked in a funeral directors with the mortuary or whatever.
Fucking hell. Dear me. Well, that reminds me of being on that Nuclear Assault tour with the Nuclear Assault, Reanimator and us, and we were
Reanimator. Oh,
yeah.
my days, I remember them.
yeah, and we were on tour bus, And Mike, their guitarist, was regaling us with tales of when he was a gravedigger. Right, and he was like, this happened and that, and he said, yeah, I was like digging a grave for somebody, and we hadn't planned it properly. You didn't realise it was on top of another grave, and my foot went through a coffin lid into an old, into an old, and he said, I pulled my foot out, and it's like, it hadn't been in there that long, the flesh was falling off the bone.
Was he making it all up?
So, no. So we're bearing in mind we're on a tour bus, completely in the dark, all in our bunks. So I mean, just chatting, right? But then he tells another 2 or 3 stories, right? And and then eventually someone goes, so anyway. What happened with that job? And he goes, I had to leave, it was giving me nightmares. I'm like, thanks for that, yeah, good night. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning, he's been telling stories for 2 hours, and then chucks in that, he gives him nightmares. But we've got slightly off topic here.
In a good way.
Yes, yeah. So you did your Terrorizer stuff.
Yeah.
And a self-released album got you like noticed, basically.
Yeah.
And
By those
So-
that wanted to notice.
Next time we were gigging with Morbid Angel.
and that must have been freaky. Given your did you have to do the washing up?
Almost. It was worse. I would have preferred to do the washing up from the trauma that we fucking went through.
Oh, really? Was it? It wasn't one of those gigging with your heroes, and it turns out they treat you like absolute twats.
Yeah, like dog shit.
Ah.
So I mean, no sound checks and yeah.
But you mean what some bands did back in the day, which was just fuck everyone over.
Yeah, just piss about.
Yeah, because there was no access to social media where you could make an outcry about how you've been treated or anything like that. It's just you get treated like shit and you fucking eat shit.
Yeah. And that was
sound ever.
And that was how we
Really?
Hecate Enthroned, wasn't it? Because we
played with them. They were main support and we opened up the show.
We were first, then it was Hecate Enthroned, then it was Morbid Angel, and we were all quite excited to be there. It was a big show and it was great, at the Astoria.
Right.
LA2.
Oh, which was another fantastic.
venue.
What a venue!
So
what
we turn up there, and then for about 4 hours, Morbid Angel were all like on stage making noise all at the same time,
Smoking fags.
So like
wandering about.
So the drummer's kind of like sitting, playing his drums, and the guitarist is making it. So everyone's doing.
You mean like the worst bit of rehearsal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we don't even rehearse like that. Because you
We did
can't
when we were
hear
15.
But you can't hear what you're doing when
Yeah.
he's doing that. So once
Yeah,
we
yeah,
did at the
yeah.
same time, it's just this sort of chaos. And then it was like 6 o'clock or whatever, and they're still on stage, all playing at the same time.
Doors are at quarter
nibbling
past.
about. And so we're sat with this band, Hecate Enthroned. We'd never heard of them. We didn't know who they were, but they were, because we were all in the same boat. You've got all your gear. Where the kids would be
Yeah.
to watch the band. You
Yeah.
set all your gear up there, which you're going to lift onto the stage to set up in front of them. So we're all standing together, kind of twiddling our thumbs, like this is like so amateur that this is like a sound check inverted commas. They're all just playing at the same time because they're bored and we're bored. And that means that we don't even get to do a line check.
Yeah.
And then literally someone comes around and says, right, you're going to play in 10 minutes. And we're like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah.
You joking. So that it changes your opinion of the band, doesn't it?
Suck it up, guys, suck it up. This is how it's going to be for the next couple of years.
Yeah, but we're still friends with Hecate now. We've played shows with them
They're
last
bros,
year.
man. They're bros.
They're great guys. They just, it's what heavy metal was all about to us. It's about these guys that've got the same kind of attitude they've always had.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, it's play heavy metal, be good to your bros, drink a beer afterwards together and
Have a laugh.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Absolutely.
Play heavy metal and have a laugh.
Yeah.
They're the bits I like.
We're really lucky. Never really got fucked over by a headline band like that, or any of that. But again, I think there was a slight difference between, you said earlier about the thrash ethos was always anti-image.
Yeah.
It was always about there's no, it could be you up here.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. No rock stars. But when like death metal came in, there was an image that came with that, and you could behave like that, because when you create an image, you also create a kind of mystique and a distance from your audience. Part of your appeal is we're not like you, and it's
I've never thought of the inception of that being around the time of death metal. That's interesting.
I think when Glenn Benton was on Channel 4 saying that he was possessed by devils, that was a pretty good indicator.
Yeah. Slightly different to Anthrax being in the hot tub at the end of Calendar Girls.
Are you possessed? Of course.
A bit different from Paul Stanley being noshed off by Playmate of the Month. But I love that. I love this side. I love that period of music, and I love the fact that they are saying, actually, we're not quite like your mates you're going to be drinking down the pub with as well. I do like that. I'll be honest.
But from an industry point of view, from an actual practical point of view, it's like, for instance, if you're a kid outside and Dave Vinson walks past and leave me alone, people, you're like, wow, great, Dave Vinson told me to leave him alone.
Well, there's that classic story. One of your bros at school, do you remember? And he came in. They saw the Slayer show at the Marquee.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Rah, Kerry King kicked me in the face."
Really stoked with that. Really pleased about that.
That was his claim to fame.
But it is. It's like Dave Vinson told me to leave him alone. Yeah, great. But when you're supporting, you actually want Dave Vincent to actually just be Dave Vincent and go, we've done our sound check, it's your turn now, lads. Do you know what I mean? And put that on for everyone else, as opposed to...
But do you expect that from people like Morbid Angel? I mean, I maybe I've just got a different attitude, but I never really expected them to be like that.
No.
I didn't expect them to be complete sort of...
Twits,
but...
Twits. Brilliant.
You don't expect them to be giving you beers out of their rider.
No, but you might expect maybe a 5-minute sound check.
Yeah.
A line check.
out of respect.
A line check.
Yeah.
least.
Because ultimately, whether you're in Morbid Angel or whether you're in a pub band, you are all doing the same thing, and you need a sound check. It's like you can say,
respect.
look, exactly. Hey, not even mutual, just a bit of respect. Do you know what I mean? Just a little bit of respect.
Treat others as you want to be treated. We've always...
We absolutely. I mean, even to this day, when we play small club shows and you've got a local band on or whatever, and it's just too much hassle to move backline. And I said, can we use the cabs? We're like, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I just crack on, kids. Like, it's just no dramas. We're not precious about that. I've played with bands that tape their mains plugs into the sockets and then right over the sticky tape, and
do not remove.
And like, God forbid that you need to plug in like a sampler or a drum module or whatever, because you ain't, or an effects pedal, because you ain't going to fucking find an outlet. Like, what's that all about? That's just pants, isn't it?
Yeah. But
scrumpy old man moments.
There's just no need for it.
There is no need for it at all.
Not at all. But every time I see stuff like that, just one word comes into my head, and it's insecurity.
Right. What they got to worry about.
Everything, as it turns out.
Maybe they remember when Van Halen supported Black Sabbath and
blew them away.
And just blew them off the stage, and because presumably they had not heard them. It's like, it's the American kids, we're Sabbath, and Van Halen supported them.
I read an interview with quite a notable heavy metal band recently. And this fella who's, I'm not a big fan of their band, but I think that they can all play really well. And this fella was saying that whenever they play live, they always lock themselves in the dressing room as soon as they arrive at the venue. Don't come out until the stage manager says showtime. And he said the reason that he does that is because he doesn't want to see anybody else's show in case it's better than theirs, and it puts him off his game. And I thought,
wow,
that's far out, man.
Yeah, well,
that's really insecure.
You should just go and see somebody and sort those issues out.
Yeah,
because unbeknownst to you, those issues are existing in other parts of your life as well.
Yeah.
Where there's not a dressing room that you can shut yourself in.
Right.
And
it's like, and you're missing out on a whole bunch of really good heavy metal. You missed out on some killer shows when you've been cocooned in your fucking mothballed in your dressing room waiting to come out and do your shit.
But also,
about?
the weird thing is that listening to that as well is like my comedian brain is processing that, and like I would, as a show last night, and you literally have to sit in the room and watch the show. Because you need to know what's been said between particular individuals.
Right.
Is another comedian doing a gag that might
topical gag,
or topical or a gag that's on the same subject as you. Because if they do, then in my set I either have to reference that as so and so was saying earlier, or I have to drop my gag altogether.
That's it.
So, and then you need to know who's in the audience and whose birthday is, and is there a stag do, and
Who's
so
going to heckle you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Who's been heckling all night?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Or who are the cunts, as we call it? Yeah, and you just, because there's going to be some people who are going to be good-natured that you can have a laugh with, where other people you've got to shut them down. So you've got to do your research. You've got to know.
Yeah.
And to be, and there's nothing worse as well. There's nothing worse than being in a comedy show than where you see a headliner turn up and they go, so have we got any Americans in? And a previous comedian is asked if there's any Americans in, and there isn't. So that guy comes on and goes, is there any Americans? And everyone just sort of sits there and goes, no. And then he goes like, oh, this is a bit of a weird reaction. Do we not like? And then you're going off on some tangent about, do you guys not like Americans? It's like, no, someone else asked us earlier, there is no Americans here, you should already know that. And the whole thing becomes a bit weird. But again, that's the way comedy works, which is obviously very different to music. But trapping yourself in a room to avoid everybody else on the bill in case they're better than you that's mad. That's utterly mad. Totally mad.
They're a respected, sort of current band who've been around. They've got heritage and.
Oh, right, okay, right. Yeah, that is weird.
It's really odd.
Really, it's about what you do, not what about anybody else is doing.
Especially when Jason mouthed who the band is to me just there. Especially when you do something that's so removed from everybody else.
Right.
I mean, that's bizarre. That is bizarre. But
part of the best bit about being in a band is, let's face it, we don't do it for the money.
There's money?
What?
There's money?
Is there?
No.
You've got some.
Have you?
No.
Yeah.
And part of the best bit about it, and getting to go and visit other places we wouldn't get to go to otherwise, is seeing bands. Is getting to see. You play a festival lineup and you're like, oh, crikey, who's on this festy that's of interest, Like,
yeah.
And I hope we don't clash with them because you're going to get out and go and see a band that you like,
Yeah.
That's part of being a music fan, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, which we most definitely are.
Actually, speaking on that subject, it's quite
Not
relevant.
for me, matey, thank you.
I remember I
You
was
have
playing with My Dying Bride a few years ago, like drums, just live drums for them. And I was doing a festival, I don't remember which festival.
Oh, you were sitting in for them?
Yeah, they were sort of in between drummers, so I was playing with them. And I'm alright, thanks, mate. Yeah.
Two's the limit on the Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
We're driving.
Yeah, me too.
So
I'm not.
we're at some big European festival.
I'm really
somewhere.
hoping you got that on.
And we're having breakfast, and I was with Hamish, who's used to be the guitarist in My Dying Bride, and we're sat there and we're having our breakfast and whatever, and you see lots of different people from different bands, don't you? You might see people that you recognise wandering in and out and whatever. And at some point, some characters come in, and Hamish has seen them, and it's like, come over and have a cup of tea, whatever. And we've been sat there and chatting, and he's not been speaking to me or whatever, but he's been chatting or whatever. And gone off, and then Hamish has seen someone else and said, oh yeah, that was, I don't know who, from Acid Rain. And I thought, I wish you told me that was so-and-so from Acid Rain, because I've never met anyone from Acid Rain. And it'd just be cool just to say, like, oh yeah, respect, I know the band,
That if it was a festival, that would have probably been Kev then. Because he'll have been crowing for somebody.
Right.
That's, yeah, because it wouldn't be anybody else.
Right.
Yeah, that was probably Kev.
But you know
That's
that
bizarre.
thing when you're kind of sat around and someone comes along and chats and whatever, and then someone says, "Oh yeah, that was so and so."
Yeah. No, you're
fucking say
right.
that.
You're right. It is always after they've gone. You go, but also you don't want to be the person going, "Sorry, who are you?"
Well, yeah, it's kind of none of my business.
Do you remember we were in Norway and we were sitting down having a bit of nosebag and Blacky from Voivod appeared. Remember that? And he went, man, it's Blacky. And I went, hey, Blacky, man, how you doing? And he just literally looked like a fucking frightened rabbit in the headlights, turned on his heels and ran away. It's like,
Really?
that was really weird. that was really weird. He clearly didn't want to speak to anybody, and fair play to him, you know.
Yeah.
Some drunken English twat, but it was just really odd. He just went,
I don't even remember that.
and ran off.
I grabbed him at the festival at some point and insisted that he take a picture with me. You know, like you just think this is never going to happen again.
Yeah,
He was like
absolutely.
a fucking cat, like stuck to the bloody curtains, wasn't he? He was like, "Just get me away from this geezer!" Just wanted to run away like he did before.
That's weird. So you went from going way back. You went from self-released to
Peaceville
to Peaceville.
to earache.
Yeah, out the frying pan into the fire.
You said that.
Yeah, I did. It's out there. It's been recorded. I remember those days.
You're right.
You know, I remember those days, and it's just where it's what happened to everybody. You know.
What, getting fucked?
Yeah. So did you? So was that enough to just turn you off? You know, is that why you sort of ground to a halt?
Not really.
Was it the business side of things, or was it just? Because the one thing I've noticed is we've talked about the Forgotten Years and the empty box set. That's I believe is due out next year.
I'll be plugging that in future interviews.
Yeah. But you could do a second The Forgotten Years when you just weren't.
We've just remembered years.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've just remembered.
Yeah. So you've got
another thing.
Yeah, you could do a double box set of that's just empty. Like, you know,
You're a marketing genius now.
Thank you. But all those years off. But it's weird because it's almost like you did it again. It's like, you know, you were in a band.
Yeah.
You were in a Sacred Orchid. Was it?
Salem Orchid.
Slalom's
Orchard.
Sorry, Sacred Orchid is one of my favourite Thai restaurants that's shut down.
Well, it's quite a good name for a band, though.
Yeah. Actually, it was Siam Orchid, but never mind.
That's even better.
But so yeah, you did it again. Do you know what I mean? You played together, and then you drifted, and then you played together. You had a proper career, and then it drifted again.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Yeah.
One thing I have noticed, because like I said, I laughingly do some research, is there's been nothing said about those intervening years recently when you kind of you didn't split up. It just ground to a halt, and then life got in the way, and then 5 years later. So
that summarised it very well, actually. I think, you know, that was a pretty good synopsis there, Howard.
Shit. Bollocks. So basically what I'm trying to say is, which one of you got sent down? You know?
I don't know what you're talking about.
David was arrested in the Old Kent Road. His sensitive crimes. No. Yeah, that summarises it very well. Just sort of ground to a halt. Yeah.
It ground to a halt, yeah. It summarises it very well because you fucking said that. so don't try and make out like I'm some sort of, you know, incredible genius who's come up with that. You said that, yeah. You said that. So, you know, if you don't want to go into details, fine. But
That's fine.
Something, you know, how did it just kind of like? Was it? Also, there was time. It seems to me that when it happened, there was a time there when music was in a bit of a plunge, a downward plunge.
In general, or
Yeah.
I felt our music
No,
was in a bit of a plunge. No, I felt our music was in a bit of a plunge. I was losing interest because I felt we'd started to repeat ourselves on the Antichrist album. I felt that, you know, some of the material's all right. Some of it was it's it stands up. It's good death metal, but there's lots of good death metal bands around. And a lot of them play a lot better than I do, and a lot better than we do, frankly. So let them crack on with that, and we should crack on with being an Akercocke, and do what we do. And so that was an element of it. There was also an element of it that I was in a mental downward spiral, which meant that I would turn up to rehearsal and not be able to retain any information from week to week.
Right.
To the great frustration of the rest of the band, no doubt.
Been there, mate.
Yeah, I would turn up
Been
like that,
there.
and they'd be like, "Do you remember those riffs we showed you last week?" I'd be like, "Not a fucking clue." And so after a while, I just didn't want to turn up anymore because I felt like I was holding everyone back.
Yeah.
So,
And you also
so I stopped turning up. And it was as simple as that.
you did a Sid Barrett.
Yeah, without the LSD. Yeah.
Bummer.
Well, I feel cheated, frankly. I did have cornflakes.
Note to self, more LSD.
Yeah, more acid. Praise the Lord and pass the ammunition. So that was that, really. And so I sort of retreated into my shell and into psychiatric hell for a couple of years. And Dave carried on playing with the rest of the guys and formed the Antichrist Imperium.
And voices, and played with My Dying Bride as well.
Yeah. So he kept his musical boots busy.
So keep you happy.
Yeah, I wasn't ready to stop playing. Never, do you know what I mean? We'd done this since we were
kids.
Yeah, I was
Literally.
15 when we started playing heavy metal. It's like, well, that's what I do. If I don't play heavy metal,
That's the day I take the pills, mate.
well, I mean, not to sort of get too morbid or whatever, but it's like, that's what I do with my life. If I don't have heavy metal and it's just me, it's like, no, that doesn't work. I use so much sort of validation, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
My self opinion is so rooted. I don't think you realise until those times, that you realise when it's like, oh right, well we're not playing this, so is it an option that I don't play heavy metal?
Oh, right.
It's like, no, it's really not, because if I don't have heavy metal and it's just, if I'm just sort of me and not me in a band, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I have to sort of have any self-value, have to be creative, and I think it's then when you realise just how you've sort of developed as an adult, and how much of your own value you place in music and creativity.
Especially if it's always been there as well.
Yeah, so it's like, well, can't stop. Possibly stop. So you have to just find other people to play with.
Yeah.
Which is what you did. And fucking came up with some cracking records at the same time.
So, and during this period, you're presumably trying to get your own head together, but also keeping one ear on what these guys are doing.
No, I didn't have Scooby. Didn't pay any attention whatsoever. Didn't hear the first Voices album until long after it came out. In fact, I heard the second album before I heard the first album. And the second album I really like, actually. But yeah, no, I didn't. I don't think I listened to any music for years. I mean, because I was in such a numb space that it stopped having any effect on me, and that's when you start to question. You have to. I mean, there are many points where you might reevaluate your own well-being and your own state. But when you listen to a record that always, without fail, puts your hairs on your arms on end, or puts a shiver down your spine, or reminds you of something really significant in your life, and you listen to that record and it does nothing for you, that's when you have to go, oh fucking hell, I'm a bit far removed from everything.
You're basically living a joyless existence. And everything that you would normally get pleasure from, you no longer get pleasure from, and so it actually ends up becoming destructive.
Right, you lose all your reference points, you lose all your frames of reference. Of who you are, and so that was exciting for quite a while. I can certainly identify with that. Right.
It's. I mean, I've talked a lot about mental health with the rest of the band as we are now, and our last single, "The Man Who Became Himself," is about mental health, basically. Something that we've all talked about doing something actually for World Mental Health Day as well, because right now within our band, everybody has got an issue of sorts. And that
just shows you how common it is.
But also probably will do moving forward, forever, because things are, well, between 5 people, there's always going to be some, but it's everyone's shoulder to lean on, it's like, we can carry that weight as a group,
bros.
Yeah, exactly, and sit and talk, and and really kind of just try and be there for each other. And
that's a beautiful thing, and but I didn't do that. I didn't reach out to anyone. I just became more and more of an isolationist and more of a hermit, and just sort of stayed at home, not speaking to anybody, and just sort of carried on with bare minimum to subsist.
Yeah, but I did exactly that, mate. I did exactly the same. I did exactly, because this is pre the band getting back together. It was just like, shut the curtains, keep the world out.
Take the phone off the hook.
Yeah, absolutely, and just make the world as small as possible.
Yeah.
And for me, I'm quite gregarious, and likes being company and all the rest of it. And when you stop actually wanting to do any of that stuff or connect with any, it's like, yeah, you do. You start thinking, well, who the fuck am I? Because if you, and I know this, if you don't recognise yourself, it's quite worrying.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
well,
right, what? Hence the man who became himself. It's like I wrote that out the other side, but when you're in it, it's kind of a very very scary place to be.
Definitely. So I was very lucky and had a lot of help, and came out the other side of that. After a while, that sort of gnawing need to play sort of returned.
Yeah.
And hence, sort of Akercocke Mark II reboot.
And you lot, reboot, one of my favourite words, having being the only original member in Acid Rain, then you all decided to start playing social media games and dropping hints, and
that's his fault mostly. That was his fault.
Me?
Yeah.
Was it?
Did you not have a Facebook thing up for?
I made the Facebook page because I was on holiday in Morocco with a young
Marrakesh
lady who was getting.
I've done my homework.
Who was quite bored with my company, and I thought, you know what? While I'm hanging about here this afternoon, I'm going to make a bit of an archive. And she said, you should maybe get it all in one central kind of
repository.
Yeah, like sort of a data bank of all the stuff. And I think that's a really nice idea, because there isn't anything. There are a couple of those random pages like Reform Akercocke or Cut Your Own Throat or whatever, and it's like
I started that one.
But I thought it was a nice idea to sort of, just because so many people used to write to me because they knew I was still making music, and so many of those, that younger generation that I'm still in touch with, I suppose, but of people that never had the chance to see the band play live. And that I did that because I thought that was more of an archive. That's why I did it.
Right,
yeah. And so what was the response to that? It
was weird that there's that younger generation of people that now are in their early 20s that, and I'm still sort of in touch with quite a few of them, and you just kind of think, where did you even hear about this? I don't know.
That's odd, isn't it? Yeah.
It's kind of weird, kind of niche thing. And I suppose it was like when we were growing up, you couldn't see Killing Joke on TV or the Swans on TV that much, but there was this big audience for them, and they had a kind of a bit of a cachet because they were a little bit alternative. And that's the only thing I can think of that we weren't ever really cool. We weren't really like a big band, but when you look at Terrorizer back in the day, we were always in it.
Yeah.
We were always in Terrorizer. We always had a lot of really good hype and good press, but we were never sort of successful, And I think a lot of the younger kids see that, listen to the music and hear the different influences in the band. And think, this is not just like death metal.
I think you're one of those bands that people look back on and go, that you were underappreciated at the time.
Maybe.
And the one thing I do get from being in a similar position in a band that was around, a long time ago, is that people come up to you and like, you were underappreciated at the time. And the beautiful thing about the metal community is that they don't just go, oh, it's like they firmly nail their colours to your mast, and they tell all of their mates, and they post about you online, and they put your albums on YouTube and stuff like that, and they become advocates for you. And that's the beautiful thing about this community that we're part of, that is that people, they're advocates for you. They stand up and they shout and tell everybody, these guys were underappreciated, and you need to listen to this stuff, because the stuff you're listening to now, well, guess what, this stuff has been around for years, and that wouldn't exist without this. You
do get or I find that a lot of the for instance, those generations of the 20s that still are into Akercocke, and when I have contact with them and they play certain bands, some I've never heard of doing something, and you think, wow, if you'd only been around for Obituary in '88, they kicked this shit, like they kicked the door open on this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they were doing it because it meant something to them. Now kids are doing this kind of thing because it's retro or whatever, or very contrived, and saying I've got a thrash influence. Yeah,
that filters into something you were saying earlier about when you were saying about the MySpace thing, and when that emerged, and all of a sudden these bands, inverted commas, emerged, and all of a sudden there are all these derivative bands, and it always makes me think back to when death metal was coined as a term, and the first wave of bands appeared. If you identify those 4 or 5 bands that really spring to mind, to my mind certainly, those Floridian bands, they all were under the umbrella term of death metal, but none of them sound alike.
Yeah.
They all had and have completely distinctive styles and sounds, and I think the problem that I have with what you alluded to with a lot of that sort of derivative stuff is that so much of it, to my uneducated ear or my ignorant ear, just sounds the same. Yeah, it's boring. It's flat. It's one-dimensional. It doesn't have any life to it and any character, that identifies it. That you can listen to it and go, oh, that's definitely that band because it's got that hallmark, or it's got that signature sound, or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I feel very. I feel.
God, I'm old.
No, not at all. I feel the same about thrash. I feel the same. It's like so everybody's raving about a new thrash album by a band, and everyone's like going, oh, you got to leave, it's right. And I listened to it and I was just like, well, really? It's just...
We did this 30 years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
I witnessed this first time round.
Well, do you know what? I heard an interview that I did at a festival recently, because I couldn't remember doing it. Exactly.
Telling lies in it, you know.
Yeah, listening back to those interviews. And I said something surprisingly cogent, which was, and I think it's your duty as an artist. And we're all going to sound like, oh yes, we're artists now. But it's your duty as an artist to push the envelope. It's your duty as an artist to move things forward.
I like you. You're all right, mate. You're all right.
Thank you.
I do see music as art. I really do.
Well, it is. It is an art form. Music as a sort of, as an entity, it's about songs. That's what I think. Like, so it doesn't matter how good you are at playing your instrument. If you can't communicate something sort of unique to that song in a song, why are you doing it? Yeah.
Because the only reason, apart from that, can be, and we get a lot of this in heavy metal, is because you want people to say, well, he's really good at doing, playing the drums.
Yes.
He's really good on the guitar. That's not music. That's being a brilliant musician, great, but that's not music.
No.
In the same way that being a ponce with a nice haircut and dancing a bit is not about music in pop music. It's like in the 80s, pop music was about someone that had an idea and a motivation to do with what I consider like art. nowadays it's about making money and getting noshed off, isn't it? You know, which is great. It's got nothing to do with music.
And we've had neither.
But do you know what I mean? That's
Where did we go wrong?
Yeah.
The thing is, I agree, and it's talking about music, as an art form. Do you guys, are any of you guys aware of the YouTube channel Lost in Vegas?
No.
Two guys banging to hip hop who do reaction videos to.
I've seen
I
some.
might have seen that actually.
and they've gone into the metal world.
Yeah, I've seen them doing YYZ by Rush.
Yes, yeah, and
I'm like, wow, yeah, that's some groovy bass, man.
yeah, and literally they pause it, and one of them's just going like, "Yeah, man, this is like I want to get my Michael Jackson on," and it's like they're just because they're approaching his music as music.
Yeah.
And they're banging to hip hop,
Yeah.
but they're just but funnily enough, you watch a few of their things, and they're all about. Don't matter how good you can play, can you move me?
Yeah.
And there you go. That's all I'm interested in. And they literally nail Dream Theater in one song. They nail him in one song, and it's like about 7 minutes in, they're both sat there going, "Yeah, well, they can play.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can definitely play. I'm just not sure that this is necessary." And it's just check it out. Lost in Vegas. They are great.
I don't know how many times I've paraphrased it or regurgitated it, but I think it's in one of the interludes on the Exit Stage Left live video by Rush, where Geddy Lee says, "It sure helps to be able to play real well and know all those notes, but at the end of the day, it's all about feel."
Yes,
There you
absolutely.
go. Same point. It's the same point.
Yeah, absolutely. It is. But ultimately, that is, I think, played into what you were saying, which is, well done, lads.
Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, it sounds like a song. You've got a verse, a chorus, you've got a middle eight, you've got a little instrumental part. You can all play very well.
And it doesn't mean
brilliant.
anything to
But next.
When you hear someone say nowadays that there's a new thrash group, and they're kind of doing this thrash retro kind of thing, and you think it's almost like when people say about punk. It's like there is no punk. Punk was something that was about a time and a place, and the motivation for a style of music was then.
Punk spirit still
There
exists.
is no punk that isn't. I'm just saying my opinion. I'm not saying
okay.
I'm right, but my opinion
Yep.
is that punk is that, and thrash was then.
Yeah.
When Charlie Benante sat behind a kit and was just like, I'm gonna fucking have this, double kit, sub 16s, we're gonna really have it and whatever. He was doing that because that was expressing when him and his bros were in a room and he was like, I'm gonna play really fucking fast.
But the song Gung Ho is called Gung Ho for a fucking reason.
But
isn't it?
the whole point is they were fucking on it. They were saying, we're not. It's this thing, and we laugh about it. But the guys nowadays with the perfect technique, and they can play, so fast and so relaxed, and they're playing, with a double kick thing, whatever. Charlie was there and was saying, "This is as fast as I can play right now, hard, proper, and the rest of the bros were like, fucking yeah, let's play it at as fast as we can, and fucking make it mean something."
Yeah.
And it changed. So now when you're a thrash band, you're not playing as fast as you can or whatever. Your motivation is completely contrived and totally different because you're saying what we're doing now is we're using all of the tools that someone else used in the 80s to express something. But they weren't doing that. They didn't have limits. What they were doing was saying, let's do something new that's exciting.
Pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
Like you said.
And no one knew how it should sound or where it was going. That was
they were doing in some ways.
Absolutely.
That's the music.
Happens here.
Yeah.
And that's reflected in, funnily enough, going back to what we were saying earlier about shitty production.
Yeah.
Actually, we were saying that before we press record, but it's like like you said, we were recording, and people who were recording our music were going, "What the fuck do we do with this?" Because that's why early thrash records sound shit. It's because the people recording them are going, because this has never happened before.
Didn't have a clue.
Yeah, exactly. That's why there's reverb all over Hello Waits, and there's no reverb on Rain in Blood. It's like, yes, you need. Yeah, by then it was like, no, thrash needs to be dry. You can't use heavy metal production techniques and use them on thrash because it'll sound shit.
Alex, it took Alex Perialis, it took Rick Rubin, these people to actually, make it what it became.
Who was the German producer of the day? It was Randy Burns as well. He did a few classics. Who was the German guy?
Oh, was it? He did noise.
Yeah, he did loads of noise stuff. He did Early Halloween. Oh, I want to say Hans, but maybe that's just casually racist.
Casual racist.
Hans, yeah.
Old school.
Yeah, I'm Hans the producer. Oh God, who was it?
Is it Michael Wagner?
No, he was in Halloween, wasn't he?
He was in Accept, wasn't
Oh fuck yeah.
he? Something like that. No,
Harris Johns.
Harris Johns.
Harris Johns did Dimension Hatros.
Oh wow.
And a few, yeah. God, you know. Wow. Well, look, guys, before we disappear down another alleyway where we go back to the 80s again, it's been about an hour and a half, so we'll call that part one, and we'll come back here and do it all again.
Sounds great.
Yeah, because I think we've got a lot more to discuss.
Howard, thanks very much for having us.
No, not at all. It's
Absolute
pleasure. Thank you very much, guys.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Awesome. Thanks a lot. And that was my chat with Akercocke, which I hope Akercocke, which I hope you all enjoyed. And I'm not going to go on and on about how good it was, because it was obvious how much we were all enjoying ourselves, and hopefully you enjoyed yourselves too listening to it. So this is coming towards the end of the podcast now. Just a couple of things I wanted to mention. Lamb of God used to be called Burn the Priest, and they are coming back as Burn the Priest and doing a punk covers album. Excuse me. There's an Agnostic Front track on there. There's also going to be an Accused cover, which is out and you can listen to, which is awesome. And I'm really enjoying it. I read an interview with Dave Blythe, or Randy Blythe, as many people call him, but Dave Blythe to me. And he said that he actually that Blaine Cook of The Accused was a bit of a vocal influence on him, and I realised I kind of picked that up then. Although I do like Blaine's vocals, not so much Dave's or Randy's. What else been going on? The new Suicidal EP, the new Suicidal Tendencies EP. Awful. Absolutely horrendous. Tragic. Sounds like they've recorded some rehearsal jams. It is terrible. 10 tracks on it. 4 or maybe even 5 of which are the same song, different versions. Just be warned. Be fucking warned. That's your warning. You have been warned. Some warning has taken place. And what else? Oh, yes, of course. Good old Gene Simmons, eh? Brilliant. Gene began personally delivering copies of his new box set, Gene Simmons, The Vault Experience, 1966 to 2016 in January. Let's just examine that opening statement, shall we? Right? Gene began personally delivering copies. He sounds like fucking Santa. Do you know what I mean? He's not got round everybody yet. He's got a sack full of joy, and he's going to be delivering that. The Gene Simmons, The Vault Experience, 1966 to 2016, is a comprehensive box set of Gene's solo material that comes packed in a safe. The set includes 150 previously unreleased songs spread over 10 discs, a leather-bound photo book, a Gene Simmons action figure, and an In Gene We Trust gold medallion, and a surprise item. Yep, I bet the surprise item isn't any decent music. I'm just picturing you can picture the meeting with the marketing guys, going round to Gene's house. So, Gene, the Vault Experience, we've finally settled on the name. Not the Vault Experience. We're going to create an experience. Okay, so what are your ideas for putting this together? Well, guys, I was thinking maybe put it in a safe, make it look really important, In fact, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do the accent, but make it look really important, yeah. So I'll put it in a safe, right? And how about okay, all right, okay, we're gonna have it in a safe, Gene. You're gonna put it in a safe, fine. Now there's 150 previously unreleased songs on over 10 discs, yeah. We've got that. So you've got your 150 so shit songs that nobody wanted to put them out before now. Basically weren't enough even to get on a shitty solo album of yours. So there's 150 slices of shit spread across 10 shitty discs, okay, and then there's and you want I'm thinking a photo book of me, right, of everybody's favourite badly drawn toy gorilla, right, and me, you know, in all my leather gear, and then bind up that book in leather. Yeah. Oh, right, I get it, Gene. Yeah. Leather in leather. Yeah, you see, guys, pictures of me in leather. In leather. You see where I'm coming from? Wow, Gene, that's fucking genius. So, right, we've got the safe, right? The lucky people won't be able to crack the combination, but let's leave that out, right? You've got the safe. You've got 150 shit songs, your 10 discs of shit, a book of pictures of you wearing leather, wrapped in leather. Okay. What else are you thinking? Well, I was thinking an action figure of me. You know, guys? Wow. Yeah, right. Okay, don't really know what to say about that. Yeah, all right. We can work it out. Great. Well, this is getting better and better. It's got the safe. With any luck, no compilation, but they've got the safe, got 150 shit songs, 10 discs of shit, a book of you wearing leather, wrapped in leather, an action figure of you. What else can you think of? Well, guys, you know what? Everyone loves a medallion, don't they? Don't they, though? You know, a nice big gold medallion on a chain that they can let just dangle in their very fashionable chest hair. What do you think, guys? I think that's a winner. Yeah, absolutely, Gene. Whatever you say, you're paying. But seriously, you know. So let's go back over it again. We've got the safe. We've got the 150. We've got the safe. We've got the 10 discs of shit. We've got the pictures of you in leather, wrapped in leather. We've got the action figure of you, and now an In Gene We Trust gold medallion. Oh, hang on, you said gold medallion, didn't you? I've just thrown that in there, In Gene We Trust. I don't know where I came with that. Hey, I can see why you guys are so expensive now. Hey, this is what I pay you for. Yeah, a gold medallion with In Gene We... I like that. I like that a lot. Yeah. Okay, yeah, people are going to love that. Yeah, do that. Right, okay. So we got the safe, hopefully with no combination. We've got the 10 discs of shit. We've got the pictures of you in leather, wrapped in leather. We've got we've got the action figure of you. We've got the In Gene We Trust gold medallion. And what else? A surprise item, guys. I've got to go off and be very powerful and very good looking elsewhere right now. There's only so much genius. There's so much genius. You see what I did there, guy? Yes, yeah, we did see that there, Gene. See, there's only so much genius to go. I've got to go. See you later. You can just imagine that, can't you? You can just imagine that as a fucking... You can just imagine that as the marketing meeting with Gene Simmons about the Gene Simmons Vault box set. Fuck me. Anyway, that's enough Gene for one episode. Look, guys, it's always a pleasure. It is never a chore. I love being in your ears. Really enjoy doing this. Want to do more, not less. Please support me at Patreon if you can. If you can afford £3.80 a month, $5 a month, that would be awesome. Tell everybody, spread the word, do some reviews, all the rest of it. It's been an absolute pleasure. It really has. And I hope you've enjoyed the show. If you haven't, well, you know, you got this far. So, what are you, some kind of fucking idiot? You got time to waste here? Look, I hope to see you next month. I will see you next month. I'll see some of you very soon, hopefully up in Glasgow. And I will be talking to you all again next month. And for now, I will leave you with some more Akercocke. And this is a track called Disappear. See you next month, guys.